Thank you. Good morning, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to welcome you on this very wet morning to this event that, in my opinion, will change Nigeria as we know it. Let me begin with the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says, if you meet a man of rare intellect, you should ask him what books he reads. The 44th President of America, Barack Obama, says, and I quote, change will not come if we wait for some other persons or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we do not just launch a book, we ignite a movement. This is not just a book launch. It is a clarion call to every one of us in this room to rise with intention, take responsibility, and build a generation of young people who will shape the Nigeria we will all be proud of. Leading at 27 is a charge, a bold reminder that leadership is not about age, but about purpose. And the time to lead is now. Because the future of Nigeria will not build itself, it will be built by those who dare to take a stand, to lead, and to be agents of change. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Leading at 27, a book by our friend, our brother, a honorable that is truly honorable, Seyi Adisa. You can make it louder, please. Before we take any recognitions, I'd like to invite to lead us into the presence of God Almighty, Pastor Toyin Lawal. Please, let's give her and God Almighty a round of applause. Let's give him and God Almighty a resounding round of applause. Pastor Toyin Lawal.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I crave your indulgence that we stand as we commit this gathering into the hands of the Lord. Good morning, everyone. I want to especially recognize our mommy, Your Excellency, Ambassador Florence Ajumobi. You're welcome, ma. Can we just lift our voices towards heaven and appreciate God for this opportunity? We thank you, Daddy. We appreciate you. We thank you for the wisdom you have given your son to write this book. We bless you, Lord Jesus. In Daniel chapter 9, verse 2, Daniel said, through books, I discovered that 70 years of desolation was about to end. We pray, Lord, that through this book, desolations will end in the life of people. Can we say louder amen to that? In the name of Jesus, people have revelation, understanding, insight to leadership, into business, into their careers that will end desolation. Through this book, lives will be transformed. Changes will occur. Through this book, generations will be touched in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Bible says the letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. Lord, we pray in the name of Jesus that your breath will be upon this book. Everyone that reads it, there will be a grace for transformation upon their lives in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. We take authority that is in the name of Jesus. We come against every contending force that the power of God will supersede. His counsel will stand. His purpose will be fulfilled through this book in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Lord, we commit this gathering into your hands. The Bible says you are able to keep that which is committed into your hands. Let your will be done today. Let your purpose be fulfilled today. Let what is in your mind be what will be manifest here today. Let none of us that came for this meeting, let us not return the same way we came. Above all, let your name be glorified in this name. Let no flesh glory in your presence. Let your name be glorified in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And the people of God will shout aloud, amen.
Amen. The Lord is good. You may be seated. Thank you very much. If God has been good to you this year, please let's give God a round of applause. I'm going to make you lose a lot of weight this morning because you'll be standing very soon. But there are 4 words I want you to remember throughout this event and as you leave here. The first word is young. The second word is leader. The third word is change. And the fourth word is Nigeria. This is the basis of why we've come here today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you please be upstanding for the national anthem of the most populous black nation on the face of the earth, the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland.
God bless Nigeria. You may be seated. Thank you very much. Let me start this morning by welcoming someone that means a lot to a lot of us. She has, through various social safety nets, such as Access to Basic Medical Care Foundation, food banks, Educate a Rural Child, amongst many others, empowered more than 1 million citizens of Oyo State. Through our initiatives, over 751,000 people across the 351 wards in the state, as well as 6,600 in orphanages have been touched. 3,000 widows. She's a first-class mother, an epitome of selflessness, cerebral ornament of motherhood, an initiator par excellence, compassionate, hardworking, and unapologetic about loving our people. She's a distinguished go-getter, a veritable partner in progress, a lady of faith, an embodiment of who the true African woman should be. Please join me as I ask that we welcome Our Excellency, former First Lady of Oyo State, Ambassador Designate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, initiator of the ABC Foundation, the Yeye Atolushe of Oyo, Dr. Mrs. Florence Ajimobi. A round of applause for her, please. The reason why we're here this morning, Nigerian lawyer, public servant, leadership development advocate known for his work in governance and youth empowerment. When he told me yesterday that he became principal private secretary to Governor Ajimobi at 27 rather, my mouth dropped then, and I'm still in awe now. He has served in both the executive and legislative arms of government, and beyond off, he is co-founder of a commercial law firm and the founder of the African Governance Institute for Development, AGID, where he focuses on raising a new generation of purpose-driven leaders committed to nation building. He's a serial author, is a firm believer in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome Honorable Seyi Adisa. A round of applause for him, please. Now, what God has joined together, let nobody put asunder. I'd like for you to please put your hands together for his jewel, the beautiful Mrs. T. Adisa. A round of applause for her. I'd like to welcome one of Nigeria's finest eggheads, the Vice Chancellor of one of those things we need in Nigeria that will create a workforce that will move Nigeria where we want it to be. The Vice Chancellor, Abiola Ajimobi Technical University, Professor Shola Ajayi. A round of applause for him. I'd like to welcome my brother and friend, a builder, a thinker, a relentless perfectionist, someone who has consistently shown that young people can lead this nation if given the opportunity. a shaper and molder of young people, the irrepressible fella, Duro Toye. A round of applause for him, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, like I like to do, I'll do recognitions as the day progresses. But right about now, it would be wrong not to welcome these young, vibrant, beautiful ladies that just walked in. Can I have a round of applause for the Adisas? A round of applause for them, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I need your favor. Please look to your left and look to your right. Hold somebody's hand, please. Don't worry, there's no more COVID in Nigeria. Hold somebody. No COVID, no Ebola. Now, this is the caveat. Don't hold more than one person. If you hold more than one person, I will charge you for embezzlement of persons. Tell that person good morning. Say thank you for coming. Say Nigeria is counting on you. I need you to tell the person sitting on next that you're holding your name. Okay. Because you came together now, you think you shouldn't tell her your name, Abi? Okay, no wahala. Tell the person sitting next to you your name, where you live. If rain beats you on your way here, tell the person, I want to send you on an errand. Write your BVN number, your NIN number, attach it with your ATM card, put your passcode, and send the person to bring it to the MC. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one more time, it's my pleasure to welcome all of us. Leading at 27, our young leaders can change. Let's start first with Nigeria and then the world. Every time you come across young people in Nigeria, and I think there's something later that will show you how much we need to do. There are three categories of Nigerians right now. Those who are here, those who are there, and those who are here but are there. I will explain those who are here but are there to you. Those who are looking for the next opportunity to japa. Those who are here also include those who believe that there's no future. What is in Nigeria for me? There are those who also believe that, well, we'll stay here. Good. We'll try to get into government. Good. But wait till we go thief, they will hear it. Is this the way forward? What can we do? How can we tackle these challenges? This is why we're here. But to welcome us properly, permit me to welcome one of Nigeria's finest communications mind. He served Oyo State meritoriously and is the CEO of Tall and Wide Worldwide. Please join me in welcoming Honorable Toye Arulogun. A round of applause for him, please. Those who know him don't call the surname fully.
I'd like to say a very good morning to all. And this morning is a special morning. Just in case you are wondering why I am giving the welcome address, the author and I worked for 8 or even like 7 years in the government of Governor Ajimobi. And therefore, he was my doubles partner. Doubles partner because when he was principal private secretary, I was special advisor, public affairs, and head of protocol, which meant that anybody that wanted to see the governor, both of us were in charge. Now, I call him doubles partner because we had a way of working together, also aided and abetted by Her Excellency Chief Mrs. Ajimobi. And it's very simple. We worked with a boss who never liked the mornings. He was a bit groggy and moody in the mornings. So we devised a way. When I go to the house in the morning, which is where I report, I would say, "Good morning, Your Excellency, ma. How is the network today?" Then she will tell me whether it's low bar. If it's low bar, I will go back inside the car. If it's medium bar, I might just hang around. But if it's full bar, I can just knock the door. But sometimes the bars do change. So if the bar is low at home, by the time you get to your office, you might have gone to half or full. But when the bar is low, you won't hear the same good morning you heard at home when you get to the office. So this morning, let's say the bar is very much half. But I'll try to make it to a full bar because we're here for a reason. And my job is very simple. I warmly welcome you to this significant occasion, the public presentation of Leading at 27 by Honorable Seyi Adisa. Beyond the ceremony, beyond the applause, beyond the excitement, today is about a deeper question. Why are we here? We're here because Nigeria stands at a critical crossroads where the energy of youth is abundant, but direction is often lacking, where dreams are alive, but opportunities can feel distant, where voices are many, but leadership is scarce. We are here because too many young people have been told to wait their turn, when in reality, the time is now. We are here because leadership is not something that should be postponed. It is something that must be awakened. That is the why behind this gathering. This is not just a book launch. This is not just the unveiling of a movement. This is a response to a need to raise young people who are not just educated, but equipped, not just ambitious, but accountable, not just passionate, but purposeful. We are gathered here because we believe in the power of youth. We believe that leadership is not a function of age, but of vision, courage, discipline, and responsibility. In a nation like Nigeria, rich in talent, energy, and potentials, the future is not something we wait for. It is something we build. And that responsibility lies heavily and beautifully in the hands of our young people. I encourage you today, do not just attend this event and leave inspired. Take action. Invest in a young person. Buy this book. Share it. Gift it. Discuss it. Let it spark conversations in homes, schools, and communities. Because when you place knowledge and inspiration in the hands of a young person, you are planting seeds of transformation. Every copy of Leading at 27 is more than a purchase. It is a contribution to building a stronger, more responsible and visionary generation of Nigerians. Leading at 27 speaks directly to this moment. It is a bold reminder that leadership is not about how long you have lived, but how well you are prepared to live with purpose and influence others positively. Leading at 27 is more than pages bound together. It is a testimony that leadership cannot begin now, not later, not someday, not when the time is right, but now. It tells every young person you do not need permission to lead. You need conviction. Leading at 27 speaks directly to this need. It answers the silent questions many young people carry. Can I lead now? Do I have what it takes? Does it matter? My voice is heard. And the answer it gives is clear. Can I lead now? Yes, yes, you can. Do I have what it takes? Yes, you do. Does my voice matter? Yes, it does. And this movement that is beginning today exists because inspiration alone is not enough. We need structure. We need community. We need continuity. We need a platform that not only sparks leadership, but sustains it. And that is why this gathering is important. Because moments like these create shifts. They challenge mindsets. They ignite possibilities. They connect vision and action to every young person. This is your call to step forward. Not someday, now. The future you hope for will not build itself. It needs your courage, your ideas, your integrity. And to our esteemed guests, mentors, and stakeholders. Your presence here is not accidental. It is essential because youth development does not happen by chance. It happens by investment. I therefore encourage you today, support this vision, buy the book, share it, gift it to a young person. Let it become a tool for transformation in homes, schools, and communities. Because every copy placed in the hands of a young person is a seed planted for a better Nigeria. Indeed, if we truly want to see a new generation of leaders rise, then we must be intentional about what we place in their hands and minds. And one of the simplest, most powerful investments you can make today is to put this book into the hands of a young person. Buy it, share it, gift it. Let it travel beyond this room into homes, schools, and communities, because every young mind it reaches is a potential leader awakened. If we truly believe in the future of Nigeria, then we must be intentional about preparing those who will lead it. That is the why. As we proceed today, may this not just be an event we attended, but a moment we became part of a movement we chose to support and a responsibility we chose to carry. The Glance movement is not just an initiative. It is a mindset. It is a platform designed to awaken leadership consciousness, inspire responsibility, and ignite action among young people across Nigeria. It is about raising a generation that does not merely complain about challenges, but steps forward to solve them. To the youth population, you are not the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today. Your ideas matter. Your voice matters. Your actions matter. Nigeria needs you, not passive, not indifferent, but bold, informed, and ready. As we officially present this book today, taking a glance into Nigeria's future, let today mark the beginning of something greater than this gathering. A ripple effect of leadership, a culture of responsibility, and a renewed belief that Nigeria's best days are ahead, driven by the youth. Very shortly, you will hear more about this movement, what it stands for, and how each of us can be a part of it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in the vision. And thank you for standing on the side of leadership, growth, and development. Thank you for choosing to be part of something greater than yourselves. Welcome to Leading at 27. Welcome to Glance Movement. Welcome to the future of leadership in Nigeria. Thank you.
Professor Toye Arologo. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one more time, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the launch and unveil of Leading at 27, a book by Seyi Adisa on how young leaders can change the world, but selfishly put on my part, change Nigeria first. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be having the books very soon, and you'll see that reminds us that leadership is not a title handed down. It reminds us it's not a toga to be worn or put on you by others. It is a decision taken. You do not need permission to rise, to influence, or to build. The world changes the moment you decide to lead. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I had earlier welcomed the captain of our ship and the leader of our team, a woman of great humane cordiality, a mother's mother, an epitome of African motherhood. If she's ready, I ask, ladies and gentlemen, that you join me in welcoming our chairperson. But I see she's scribbling, so I give her like 2 minutes to do that. I want us to know that we're not just the only ones here. We have a lot of people online who are joining us and would like to acknowledge your presence. I don't know if I should look up or look down or look to the left or look to the right. In these days of AI, wherever you are, you will be seen. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I once asked somebody, what's the best way to recognize and introduce someone? And he told me, just say, and that's what I'm going to say. Ladies and gentlemen, this woman needs no introduction. A round of applause for her, please. Please make it louder, make it louder.
Can we all be seated? Thank you. Once again, good morning, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here today. So let me start by recognizing the latest author, Seyi Adisa, someone that I'm so proud to call my own son today. The Honorable Minister, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, she'll join us shortly. Members of House of Representatives, current and former. The Chairman, Presidential Committee on Tax Implementation. The VC of our own university, the Abiola Ajimobi Technical University. Members, current and former of the House of Assembly, Lagos, Delta, and Oyo State. The MD of Loma, Dr. Muyiwa Gbadegeshin. The Special Advisor to the Governor of Oyo State, Seun Fakorede. Captains of Industries and Distinguished Personalities, MD T2, MD Veritas, Fela Durotoye, the husband of my own dear Aburo, Mrs. Ini Abimbola, MD FBN, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying leadership is not the capacity to translate. Leadership is the capacity to translate your vision into reality. Warren Barnett. This quote is very apt for today. And I think Honorable Seyi Adisa today is translating his vision into reality. And like I said, I'm so proud of you, Seyi. It is with a heart full of joy that I stand before you all this morning on this special occasion, the official presentation of the Leading at 27. When Seyi first told me he was writing this book, I smiled and said, finally, the world will get to see what many of us have seen in you for years. Today, that moment has arrived, and I am deeply honored to be alive and to be part of it. Truly, it is rather sobering that we live in a time marked by a profound leadership crisis among young people across nations. Too many bright and talented individuals rise into positions of influence without the necessary foundation of character. They seek power, but often overlook the responsibility and purpose that must guide it. For you to be successful anyway, you must have the character to be in that position. And if that is missing, definitely you are not going to succeed. And so today, we see the consequences all around us: broken trust, shallow impact, and a generation that sometimes confuses noise for leadership and entitlement for excellence. It is especially painful in a country as richly blessed with youthful energy as us. I don't see why the youth fail. I don't. But a lot of them, when they get to positions, they either get carried away and lose the character that can make them succeed on that seat. That is why for me today, this book, and indeed this moment, matters so deeply. Today, we're not just launching a book, we are celebrating a living testimony that another path is possible. Seyi's journey is one that speaks for itself. From a very young age, leadership was entrusted to him. At 27, as a qualified lawyer, while many of his peers were still searching for direction, he stepped boldly into leadership, first in the private sector, then in public service, where he served for 8 years as principal private secretary to my late husband, the former governor of Oyo State, Senator Abiola Ajimobi. And you all know what it means when I say somebody served with my husband for 8 years. You must have what it takes. Seyi had the character I'm able to say here this morning. Thereafter, he served as member representing Afijo State constituency in the Oyo State House of Assembly. And today, he continues to make meaningful impact through his work in the social sector with the African Governance Institute for Development and the Seyi Adisa Development Initiatives. Yet, beyond those titles for Seyi, the titles and achievements, what stand out is that through it all, he has remained grounded in character, driven by purpose, and guided by a quiet but powerful influence that flows not from position, but from the quality of his heart and the consistency of his action. This is what makes leading at 27 so powerful. This is not just another theoretical leadership manual. It is a heartfelt and practical distillation of real-life lessons, lessons forged in the fire of early responsibility, in moments of uncertainty, and in the daily choice to do what is right, even when it is not popular. In this book, Seyi speaks to the courage to show up, excuse me, the clarity to stay focused, and the conviction to remain true to one's values. He also highlights the critical connection between leadership, responsibility, and intentionality, and the importance of building something that outlives you. When our nation and continent so desperately need, what we definitely need today are men and women who understand that true influence flows from purpose, and that purpose is firmly rooted in character. I am glad to say Seyi's journey is a powerful reminder of this truth. It is a proof that when a young person chooses service over self, especially in leadership, they can indeed change the world. One decision, one relationship, one act of integrity at a time. Seyi, today, as you share these lessons with the world, my prayer is that every reader will not only read your words, but catch the spirits behind them. The spirits of a young man who decided early that his life would count for something greater than himself. And to everyone here today, let us receive this book, not merely as ink on paper, but as a call to action, a call to invest in the character of our young leaders and to believe in them, a call to create spaces where emerging leaders can learn, grow, fail safely, and rise with purpose. May this gathering spark conversations that will outlive today. May the ideas shared here multiply and bear fruits in governance, in business, in our communities, and in the next generation. Once again, I want to say thank you for the privilege of chairing this beautiful location. And to my dear Seyi, once again, congratulations. The world has been waiting for this message, and I have no doubt it will be better because you chose to share it. Thank you all, and God bless you.
An embodiment of grace, strength, and compassion, a woman whose life reflects a deep commitment to uplifting and serving with purpose. A round of applause for her one more time. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome a woman who is an impact-driven leader with experience in business and strategic development for advancing youth empowerment and leadership growth. Please, let's welcome Mrs. Ini Abimbola. A round of applause for her. Also here with us, ladies and gentlemen, is a seasoned corporate executive and energy industry leader with a strong track record in business development and strategic leadership. House of Assembly member in Delta State, who has come to be with our brother. Please welcome Honorable Marilyn Okowa Daramola. A round of applause for her. You know, one of the beautiful things about being an MC is that you have certain privileges. If you've seen the book, let me see your hand. So I'm not so special. If you've read the book, can I see your hand? Okay, one person. Two. If you've read the book to people holding a microphone, let me see your hand. Nobody. So permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to take you to page 209 of the book. Are you ready? Elbow your neighbor and say, listen. Elbow anybody, elbow you. Say, listen. The shock came when I discovered that my honest attempt at consensus was being maliciously reinterpreted behind my back. The narrative was being twisted. People I'd invited to the table were leaving those very meetings to tell others I was trying to impose myself as an absolute leader, that my attempts at unity were actually tactical moves to capture the party machinery. What I saw as a breach, they saw as a cage. What I intended as a collaborative leadership, they viewed as a threat to their own entrenched influence. It was a staggering revelation to realize that some people would rather rule in a divided kingdom than serve in a united one. This tension reached its boiling point during the 2022 Party Congress. It was a true shocker for me to witness the level of active, calculated sabotage coming from individuals I had broken bread with and supported. I saw lies being manufactured with professional precision, doubts being planted in the minds of the vulnerable, and a coordinated effort to dismantle my reputation. The opposition did not stop at the physical or political level. In this part of the world, when people cannot defeat your results, they often turn to the metaphysical. I learned from reliable sources that my photographs had been taken to prayer houses and spiritualists with the intent of seeking my downfall. The grievance against me was almost absurd when spoken aloud. I was... Anybody? Too young. Too different. And I had moved too fast. It wasn't that I had failed. It was that I was succeeding in a way that bypassed the traditional. That is page 209 of the book. Now let me take you to page 141 of this book. Are you ready? Are you ready? I told you when we started that I wanted you to take 4 things away from here today. What are those 4 things? Who remember? Young. Let's take it in order. Young. Leader. Change. Nigeria. Who said world? We'll give you a one-way visa to where? Maybe Iran. So, he was too young. He's too young. He's doing things differently. And that is a challenge. So, how do young people navigate? That is why we're here. I recall in 2019 when we organized a football competition amongst the youths of the local government, which was fiercely contested. On the day of the final, we had dignitaries from all over the state, including my boss, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, several senators, House of Representative members, and other state assembly members from Lagos and Ogun State. We also had veteran footballer Mutiu Adikpoju and others in the stand. After a wonderful competition and the awarding of medals, it started to rain heavily, and everyone rushed for their cars. My team signaled to the two teams to proceed to our office, which was nearby, to collect their cash gifts. However, to my dismay, they refused to leave the pitch and rather held down the team bus from moving. They demanded their money in the rain, and all appeals to leave for the shelter was rejected. It became apparent that they had been promised several times by some other politicians and not given the cash prize, and didn't want to become victims again. These politicians had led with promises, talked well, made big claims, and asked for their trust up front, and they were disappointed. We needed to lead with proof. We showed them the money and made it clear we were more concerned about their health. We gave them their cash prize and earned their trust gradually, and have since built credibility with them. Like we said, this is more than just a book. This will be the beginning of the Nigeria we have all craved for. If you attended University of Ibadan, can I see your hand? My brother Idris Ajimabi, I see you. Can I have a round of applause for you, please? If you attended University of Ibadan, seriously, let me see your hand. Why is the DJ waving frantically? Okay. If you believe that change can start from universities, can I see your hand up? Fantastic. If you believe that Nigeria needs this change right now, let me see your hand up. Okay, not everybody. Most distinguished Senator, you're welcome. Thank you very much for coming. Thank God you came at the right time. We're talking about young leaders, change, and Nigeria. Very soon, someone will come up to tell us why this book is very, very, very important. You know, a lot of times we write books and we give them to people, come and pay fantastic amounts of money. And a lot of them end up not reading the book, one. Am I right or right? Two, we end up buying these books and not even giving them to anybody. At the end of the day, we have just purchased another book for our library. Let me ask this very stupid question. Who read a new book last week? Fantastic. Who read a new book this week? Fantastic. Who has not read a book this month? This month is just starting. Who has not read a book this month? Okay, who has read a book today? I will catch all of you now. I'm not talking about the Bible, no. Who has read a book today? Like you, some of us are also very guilty. Someone once said, if you want to hide a book, if you want to hide something from a black man, do what? Hide it in a book. But that is changing, ladies and gentlemen. Right about now, ladies and gentlemen, we move to something that is very, very strange at a lot of book launches. We're going to have a panel session. And we're going to have book reviewers sit as discussants, and we're going to ask them questions as the evening or the afternoon progresses, because Honorable has told me that if we stay here longer than is necessary, we'll come and be told to go out in French. And I know a lot of us don't speak French. Parlez-vous français? Un peu? Un peu, no, Lumaje. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting with the discussion session, but for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give us the opportunity to discuss amongst ourselves, ask ourselves, and I'm very serious about this, what do you think can change Nigeria for good? The DJ will play some music at voice level, keep it very low. Let's discuss. What do you think Nigeria needs? We'll be back in another 2 minutes. Thank you very much. You are not discussing, no? Okay. Maybe I should just bring the microphone to people and ask. So, what do you think Nigeria needs? What do you think Nigeria needs now?
Leading at 27.
Leading, so you want young people in leadership. Even old people need to read it. Mosisiri Senator, I greet you. Aru, what do you think Nigeria needs now? Say it again. You read it that time, you didn't say it.
We need a new set of leadership.
New set of leadership. Honorable Minister. Uncle, what do you think Nigeria needs now? I won't let anybody hear. Just tell me.
Empowerment of our young people.
Empowerment of our young people. But don't forget that
Young leaders that have character and a purpose.
that's what I wanted to hear. Young leaders with character and purpose. Not young leaders that will tell themselves that, man, me, if I reach there, we go chop, oh, it's our turn. Not young leaders that cannot be held accountable. Not young leaders that will let us down. J. Holland Jr., let me see if I can quickly get the quotes. Says, God give us men. A time like this demands strong men. Men of faith, men whom the lust of office will not change. God give us men. And when he said men, before the women start saying, why only men? It meant men in the context of men and women. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome all of us for coming this morning. I want to thank you for taking time to be part of this. And I pray that God Almighty will give us the Nigeria of our dreams. I'll start by welcoming our moderator. She's young, she's dynamic, brilliant, and intelligent. Please, let's welcome the moderator for the book discussion session. Because it's far from a review, I'll also be welcoming all our moderators on stage. Can we have a round? We'll be welcoming all our discussants on stage. Mr. Sai, Woduni, Salami. Can I have a round of applause for all of them? My moderator will do a compact introduction of all of them as they step up. Please, let's give it to them. Let's give it to them. Thank you very much. Make it louder. Let's encourage them. And my job is to tell them they have just 20 minutes. Please, let's give all of them a round of applause. You notice that we made all of them young. apart from the man with the white beard. But white beard could be a sign of stress too. Maybe Nigeria is stressing him. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome our moderator. A round of applause for her.
Your Excellencies, highly distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to stand before you this lovely afternoon at this really insightful book launch for a panel session we're about to have right now. Just like Mr. Bengadinka mentioned, our panelists are up here already, but I would like to just give a better introduction of all of them. First of all, thank you for being a part of this conversation. They are amazing thought leaders who have read this book very carefully. And today, they're not just giving a book review. They are talking about this book in a light that affects them and can help bring a new era of change and help, grow young leaders to change the world indeed. The book we're all here to celebrate, Leading at 27, reminds me of the quote by world-renowned leadership expert John C. Maxwell, where he said, "Everything rises and falls on leadership." And this book has been categorized into three major aspects. The very first part, character, which I think is the foundation of true leadership. And to speak to us on character today is a development practitioner specializing in education and gender with over 15 years working in child rights advocacy, universal basic education, and gender responsive education planning. She's also the founder and executive director of Mentoring Assistance for Youth and Entrepreneurs Initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mrs. Adam Osai. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being a part of this panel session today. The second part of this book, which centers on influence, also reminds me of a quote by the famous great Greek philosopher Aristotle, where he says that influence is the art of making people do things they wouldn't ordinarily do and making them do it without force. And that is a pointer that legitimizes your authority, and that's a true function of leadership as well. And to speak to us in that aspect, ladies and gentlemen, is the convener of the Peak Performer Africa, a platform in pursuit of greatness, providing top-class professionals, entrepreneurs, and nation builders with strategies for boosting performance since 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Abiola Salami. Thank you very much, sir. It's quite interesting. I was sitting right beside him and I didn't even know. It's quite interesting. And lastly, the third aspect of this book, purpose, success that transitions to significance. Again, at this point, I'm sure you already know, I'll give a quote by the late Dr. Miles Monroe, where he says that once the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Thank you for chorusing it. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Thank you. And to take us on that is a seasoned management consultant, leadership expert, and politician with a proven track record in driving organizational and governance and excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Ayo Owoduni. Thank you very much, sir. And of course, to moderate this panel session today is one of Nigeria's youngest, finest TV presenters and event compere. My name is Tolu Thompson, and I'll be driving this conversation. Thank you. All right, so straight to the question now, character, influence, and purpose. Of course, ladies first. I'll start with you, Mrs. Osai. You read the 2 chapters on Principled, Not Naive, that's chapter 5 of the book, and also Building in the Dark, chapter 7. And quite frankly, Honorable Seyi mentioned a lot about his story, told a lot about his journey in this book. But can you tell us about a moment in his story where you saw what happens when someone chooses integrity and it actually costs them.
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying hearty good morning to Your Excellency, the chairperson of today's ceremony and book launch, the author and convener of today's book launch, distinguished guests and great Nigerians, and to all the children in the room, I greet all of you. I'm very excited to be here. I found the book very arresting. At least the chapters that I read, I was fascinated by. Seyi chronicles, in chapter 5, a very internal, journey. And I think he sort of, not sort of, he very strongly presents to all of us, the readers, the tensions that we often grapple with in Nigeria today. Many of us approach Nigeria and its issues from a very Puritan, perspective, a very high moral position. And this book, while maintaining that, is a very great guide and a great lesson. I'm one of those people who tends to look at things, from an ideologue position. It should be this way. This is normative. This is what is appropriate. This is what reasonable people do. Now, this book shows us the inner workings of governance in the sense that, for the first time I looked at it, look, you want to moralize in a way, in a space that people are governed by different standards. Now, the natural outcome of that is you eliminate every person. Have you thought of that future where you are you're the most moral, righteous individual in the room, but the room is empty and devoid of other parties except yourself? Now, he presents, a space that many of us are not aware of how it works behind the curtains. That, bargaining that has to be occurring. And the fact of the matter is, everything in society is a cooperative endeavor. Now, we all come to this endeavor with our different standards, our moral guides, our compass. But every person is a bridge to the next, level you want to get to.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
Yes.
I know that, I feel like you're speaking generically, but is there a particular story?
Yes, and I'm going to get to it.
Okay.
I'm just laying the ground, the foreground. So, every person is a bridge. And so he illustrates it. So you asked for a story, I'll go directly. In chapter 5, there are quite about 3 stories, but one poignant one that stands out. Now, there's a bill that has been brought up in the State House of Assembly. And, his legal antenna is very much alive and instantly detects some mischief, right, that is in this bill. Many might not catch it, but he catches it. Now, he's in an opposition party, mind you. The party is the House of Assembly is led by, PDP, quote unquote, and he represents another party. He could take that moral high ground and come out and show the world, or stand in the house, on the floor of the house, and expose all of them for their moral deficit by saying, you see yourselves, you've won, Abi, you claim to be in terms of the marketplace of ideas, you have the most lofty ideas, but look at what you're sneaking in behind the bill. But remember, he recognizes these same people, when he wants to push his own agenda, his own bills, his own motions, he has to ride on them to achieve that. So if he does this, takes this approach, it's, it's great for grandstanding. It wins him public, applause and accolade. But it destroys the partnerships that he needs to have to then do the real work going forward. So he says something very instructive, and he was quoting from one of his mentors. He's somebody that, if you stay with him a few minutes, you would have heard John C. Maxwell, you'd have heard all the people he subscribes to. So he quotes one of them and says, and this is Simon Sinek, he says, never play a long-term game, with the finite rules of a 90-minute game. So you have to be forward-thinking. You want to use these same people in the future. You're going to need these same people. As, offended as you are by their morality, you need them. So the compromise, therefore, is what's the strategic middle point? And that's what he encourages every leader to always think about. What's that strategic middle point where you don't lose your core, but you still keep people as allies because you need people to advance even your own wonderful, lofty ambitions.
Wow, thank you very much. Please let's put our hands together for her. I think that was very insightful. Reminds me about choosing your battles wisely because of the greater good ahead. Whilst you were speaking, a young person might be watching now online and think, in politics now, it looks like being principled is expensive. I don't think I can afford it. What would you say to them?
So I agree. I think the world we live in now has presented binaries to us as young people. So it's either you're in or you're out. In fact, he talks about a point in the book where, if you recall, the NSAS, struggle that broke out. Apparently, he, experienced a barrage of calls. He was inundated with, messages from people who trust him, admire him, look up to him, and they were, critiquing him. You've not taken a moral position. You're too silent in this kind of space. In fact, the most instructive or decisive move to make in this whole, brouhaha is to step away from this group. That's the greatest statement you can make, to dissociate yourself from these ruling, forces. But he said that, that's not long-term thinking. Because ultimately, you lose the ground that you've won, and that ground allows you to participate in a process to stamp your morality, your conscience on activities within that process, right? So that's the world we live in as young people. It's similar, even when we think about the civic space, it's largely abandoned because young people are thinking, look, I'm going to advance my career. If you're thinking, because the MC asked us, do we think that universities could be sites for transformation? The average thinking, in universities now is, after school, what's my career? So the abstract called Nigeria is not part of my immediate plan. So those are expressions of this binary, It's not strategic to be thinking about your civic contribution. It's principle, it's nice to hear. It's, moral, it's good on the books. But does it earn you an income? Does it position you for, something beneficial in the future? It doesn't seem that way. So I think these are some of the ways in which these tensions present themselves. Also in the workplace, people are looking for labels. Even in, general life as we know it, people are looking for labels. I've encountered young people and they're in spaces that the minute they see somebody who is a title holder, they start shouting, my leader, my leader. That's the trend we see today. So there's a shift away from values-based leadership to, positions, to titles. So it automatically communicates to you that, you can't express leadership except you're in a formal position. Whereas in your community, you could have done one, let's clean up on Saturday. Or let's go, help the market women set up Facebook, account. Just something that advances the collective and just improves the community. But you don't see it as, yes, it's nice, it's principle. So we're no longer, in terms of the way we think, we're thinking in binaries, and because of that, it's either or. We're in a space of either or, either or. And then the spaces that even now, presume leadership, we're not prepared for. Because if you approach a position without the understanding of the values that back it, that you must demonstrate, you will fail at it. And that's what he points out again in that book.
Thank you. Now let's quickly move on to chapter 7 of this book, Building in the Dark. Honorable Seyi shared the story as well. I mean, doing excellent work and nobody's saying it, nobody's recognizing it. What lessons did you learn from reading that story and how people can navigate seasons of obscurity, especially young leaders?
That chapter is even very important for the times in which we find ourselves now in Nigeria. I think, whatever way you look at it, there's a resilience that Nigeria is shaping in you. There's just a grit. And I think that while nobody's life is a formula for the next person, there's examples, there's, guidance that we can get from people's journeys. And Seyi, by chronicling his journey from when he was 16 all the way up to his first, formal appointment in formal leadership, shows us the behind the scenes, what people don't see, that phase of preparation, the boot camp phase. Now, he talks about how necessary that phase is for, the future that everybody is desiring. You yourself, you want, results. We're all obsessed with blowing, arriving, right? But but everybody, I think there's a universal agreement or consensus that, the preparation phase is boring. Nobody cares. Like, you see a nice cake, nobody cares how you were beating the dough. We just want to see how the cake looks, right? So, but he talks about that very necessary phase of beating the dough. And his own life took him in a certain direction. Everything, his own journey and work is different from each person. But what he points to is that life is preparing you. That, the pressure you're facing is building certain muscles that will serve you in the future. In his own case, going to school very early in England, he had to start working to complement whatever money his parents had given him, right? He was thrown into a completely unfamiliar terrain and environment. So it was humbling, a very humbling experience. I think young people, we can largely agree, young people are trying to avoid or reduce as much as possible the time span of that humbling phase. And he says, don't rush it. Don't rush it. Now, what you want to carry on top, the weight of what you want to carry requires then the depth of that humbling phase. Embrace it. In that phase, you will be overlooked. Nobody will recognize you. Your more fancy friend is going to, when they walk in, they'll give her front row seat and all those things. So it comes with the package. But that's the phase that, like he said, is building the required muscles for you to bear the weight of success when it eventually comes, or effectiveness in leadership. In his own case, it taught him, to be nimble, to be agile. He learned that flexibility, which he then required for government. It also taught him to, experience and embrace rejection. So rejection, psychologists say, is like receiving a blow. But that comes with the terrain of government. You pick up social media, everybody's abusing you every morning. But he's been trained to, by listening to irate customers every morning. If he hadn't had those preps, he would have come and broken down very easily in the space of governance that he found himself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Please just put our hands together. I think that was such a brilliant answer. And right now, I'd like to direct this to the room. I know that many of us here are leaders, leading our families, our organizations, our industries. But then again, we've all been in that season of obscurity, and we have young people looking up to us for direction, for insights, for just knowledge. What are we teaching them? What are we telling them? Are we letting them see that there is a season of obscurity and this too shall pass? It's a part of the process. They're going to grow through it, and the depth of this obscure season is what will determine how much weight they can later carry on in life. Or we're making them see that, hard work deserves immediate recognition. I think that that's something every one of us in this room should reflect on. But I'd like to mention that in the coming weeks, students from the University of Ibadan will start having the glance movement, where they would read this book, they would have conversations and discussions, ask questions, and hold themselves accountable. Because beyond just writing this book, we also need young people to read and engage with it, and also gain life lessons that they can apply to themselves. So we would like that everyone in this room, the glance movement is not just specific to University of Ibadan. If you have any young person working with you, I think you should buy them this book, give it to them, let them be in a group or a club, and let them have conversations based on the lessons in this book. Now we're moving to the second phase, influence. Dr. Abiola Salami, over to you. The chapters you read, chapter 13, when they don't want you to win, active sabotaging in your face, and also chapter 14, making others look good. Now, when you know this person doesn't like you, they really want your downfall, but you are the bigger person, and you have to make them look good. I'm just reminded, I think I like a lot of quotes. I'm just reminded by this quote by the famous Nigerian singer, David Adeleke, a.k.a. Davido. We rise by lifting others. So even if they want you down, how you can still rise is by lifting them instead of bringing them down as well. Clock it. Okay, so when they don't want you to win, this is about sabotage, opposition, people actively working against you. Tell me a story from Honorable Seyi's political journey that made you uncomfortable to read.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I answer that question, I want to acknowledge our mother, the chairperson of today. And this is not just for protocol, it's to say thank you to you. I'm an Ibadan boy from Oyo State, living in Lagos, working in Lagos. And so I'm saying thank you to you for the excellent work that you did, that you continue to do as well, to provide motherhood for many of us. So please help me appreciate her. And to congratulate my brother Seyi as the author today. As an author of 7 books, I understand that an author is communicating a message, and then the messenger himself is as important as that message. So speaking of influence, it's important to acknowledge those who have influenced the author today to bring this up. And if you spend 2 seconds with Seyi, there's a name that always comes right on his lips. One of the things I remember he said to me, I've been influenced by that as well. One of the things I remember he said to me, and I will say it in Yoruba, I said, Madam, Madam Bell. And guess who said that to him that made him to say it to me? One of the strongest influences in his life. And a man, I think that whatever we're doing about what Seyi's bringing to bear is incomplete without fully, truly acknowledging him. So because of that, please, I want us all to rise. And yes, it's not with us again. And you know who I'm referring to. Yes, it's not with us again. And we just want to keep clapping just to say thank you to him. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Thank you. Thank you. Let's sit down. That is influence. That is legacy. Its influence is legacy. And one of the things, there's a story. I mean, already the MC was reading it to us about sabotage, page 209. Those people he broke bread with, the people he thought they were on the same page. I'm not a politician, but one of the things I've learned and hear from my politician friends, they will say that if you think you know people, wait till you join politics. I hope that is true. Okay, wait till you join politics. And it became his reality. But the most important thing, based on that book and based on his consistent conduct, is not even about what those people did. It's about his response to it. You quoted Davido the other time about rising. It's about him, yes, having the emotional intelligence to know that he needs to play the long game. Remember that quote. He needs to play the long game and not use the bitterness, the anger, the disappointment to start to relate with people. Because the part of leadership, as we continue to see, as we will see in the book, and as many of us have experienced through our lived experiences, there are many times you will be disappointed by the people that you are serving. And so in those moments where those you are making this sacrifice for, by the way, I think the S in the word Seyi is sacrifice. Those who you are making sacrifice for, even when they are not seeing it and then they want to sabotage you, how do you still retain your position as a leader and extend your influence? And I think that's the biggest test of influence on anyone. So it's great that he shared that story with us on how he navigated that. And it's a good lesson for every one of us. I know that this book is about young people, but my recommendation is that it's not only for young people, even for every one of us as well. Because learning itself does not end until you die. And the reason I know that for a fact, a few months ago, I lost my mentor who died at 93. His name is Dr. Christopher Kolade, who anytime we engage, he will be telling me about something new he's learning, even in his 90s. So every one of us, a way to improve the work we're doing, a way to be of better influence, a way to serve, is not just to buy this book and give to young people. It's for us to read it and be influenced by the message that Seyi has willingly presented to us. Thank you.
But I would like that you share a particular story that you read that made you very uncomfortable and why that story made you uncomfortable.
So, there's no story that made me uncomfortable.
You're used to people pulling other people down.
There's no story that made me uncomfortable. It just continues to go with the reality of relating with human beings. We are very complex beings. People come with their biases, their prejudices, their hidden agendas, their hidden interests. And it's just important that we continue to be aware of that. I mean, not necessarily painting everybody with the same brush, but seeking to understand where people are. And no matter how disappointed we are, which is the biggest lesson, in that, no matter how disappointed we are, we still position ourselves in a place where we can easily relate, knowing that we're playing the long day game, not just in the short term,
All right, so let's move to chapter 14 now, which is about making other people look good, especially with the PhD syndrome Honorable Seyi mentioned. That's the pulling people down, holding people, down. What would you say is the paradox it was trying to get at? Because, people are actively trying to sabotage you and oppose you, but on the other end, you are actively trying to make them look good.
I think that speaks to, while we have talked about character before, I think that speaks to character as well. That you are not necessarily out for vengeance. I remember I like to call her my sister-in-law, Mrs. Michelle Obama. I hope you know who I'm talking about, right? Okay. She said something that became very popular some years ago, that when people go low, that we should go high, and I think that is that conduct, that is what to do, which is what Seyi did in that instance. So that as people, they are pulling you down, they are saying negative things about you, but you understand that the place you should be is that unique place. And you find many people who are leaders by title and by nomenclature, not by their character, their integrity, and the person that they are. So the natural thing for every human being to do is to react and say, once you give me one, I give it back to you as they hot, right? But what makes you that unique leader is that they are serving you negativity, but you are serving positivity in turn. And at the end of the day, you as the leader, you rise, you shine.
All right, thank you. Please let's put our hands together for him. Again, this is a moment for every one of us in the room to reflect. As leaders, raising young leaders as well. One thing many leadership books do is to teach you how to, what's your goal, write it down, how do you strategize. But nobody ever really mentions that people will be out to actively pull you down. People will be out to actively sabotage you. But then the question is, how do they navigate? Are you showing them the roadmap? Because whether we like it or not, everyone in this room, and we've all been in situations where we know that this person doesn't necessarily like me and this person doesn't want me to succeed. Now, how did you navigate that? And that's an important lesson to be able to pass to the next generation. Again, the glance movement is one that we're really looking forward to for many young Nigerians when they have conversations like this, because again, most leadership books will just tell you, do this, do that, but nobody's preparing you for the enmity that comes with leadership. All right. Now let's move to the last phase of the book, Mr. Ayo Oduni, purpose, which is success transitioning to significance. And you read the chapters, chapter 19 and 20, Beyond the Bag, Stay or Go, the Jackpot decision. And I think you're the best fit for this. We know why. So, moving from financial success to significance. Honorable Seyi talks about the 3 stages: that's survive, succeed, and significant. Can you tell us about a moment in a story where you saw that empty success phase and that success that doesn't satisfy?
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here with every single one of us. Thank you all for joining and celebrating my brother. I do want to say this. Seyi and I went to secondary school together. Seyi was the class captain, and his job was to write down the list of noisemakers. And as you know, as a politician, I was one of the noisemakers in the class. So we had to always constantly beg him so that he can remove our names from the list. But it's so good to see how far he's gone and the amazing things that he's achieved as well. I am a city councillor in Kitchener in Canada. The first black to win in that role as well. So I play in the political space in Canada. And it's great to read, the different aspects of this book, having sit-down conversations with Seyi as well, just to dive in and talk about some of, from a different lens, from a completely different place. So I'm learning through his lens about some of the things that he's gone through and he has, gone through. So going to your question in terms of the hollow victory, one part of the book, chapter 19 exactly, where Seyi talks about, the win. Or should I say Honorable Adisa? I'm sorry, we went to school together, so we call each other by first name basis. But where he talks about, the win, you win, there is that joy, there's that excitement. You've had nights of planning, of strategy. You have your war room, so to speak. You've been strategizing for so long, and finally, it happens. So there is that sense of joy and fulfillment and excitement that, yes, we have done it. But then he talks about he drives to, I believe it's the headquarters. I don't know if I got that right, where the rest of the team is, and finding out that the party at a larger level had lost several seats. So he won, but the team overall did not get the win that they were looking for. And I think from that point, there was that question in his mind around, is this it? So I have reached that goal that I'm hoping to accomplish for so long. And here I am reaching it, and it does not feel as I thought it would feel. And I loved what he talked about, how after that, I don't know the timeline, he flew down to the US for John Maxwell Leadership Conference. I love when you talked about how he always quotes John Maxwell. We see why. He went to a John Maxwell Leadership Conference, and leaving that conference was when he started to think about purpose beyond profits, that as some people will call it, or as he started to think about significance in connection to success. So success is one thing, but how do we all build a level of significance with what we're looking to do? And I just want to share the story, and I'll pass it back to you. There is a wonderful, we call him member of parliament in Nigeria, be a senator. And we have a minister that just entered. Do you want to do a proper introduction,
please? Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's recognize the presence of the Minister of Trade and Investment. Please, let's put our hands together for her. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
There is a senator in Canada, well, we call it MP. There's an MP in Canada. I was having a conversation with her at an event once, and we both walked by a young girl, let's say about 9, 10 years old. She said hi to both of us. I say hi, I keep walking. She gets down on her knees, and she says, "My name is Honorable Bardish Chaga. I'm a member of parliament, and you can be anything you want in this country if you choose to." That was a young black girl she was talking to. Me, I greeted and I walked by. But she was planting a seed in that person's heart. That is an example of a successful politician that was now fulfilling significance. I don't know if that makes sense. In 2017, 2018, I was the vice president of the Nigerian Association, and I was making a speech at one of our events. This same Bardish Chaga heard me speak at the event. After I finished and I sat down, she came to me later on. She handed me a card, and she said, "I really think you should be a politician. You really will be good at this. Call me, let's have a conversation." I called her. She mentored me for about a year, and then I ran for office and won. So this individual, in 2 different scenarios, could have just stayed at success. But just as Seyi talks about, what is that thing beyond success that gives you fulfillment, which is that sense of significance? And it's a really powerful concept in chapter 19 when you read it.
Thank you. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Thank you. But come to think of it, most people would typically write about significance in their later years, typically 60, 70, now they're thinking of giving back. But Honorable Adisa writing about it at 43. Why do you think this conversation is needed now?
I do believe it's important because he is at that age, which is like a bridge between the younger and the older. He's had a chance to experience life, like you said, behind the veil, behind that world that not everybody gets to see. So he's experienced it, and many times we want to wait till later, let's wait till much later. I have a mentor who I asked to write a book. I repeatedly asked them, and he kept saying, not yet, not yet, not yet. He was going on a walk one day, had a heart attack, and passed away. So all that knowledge, all of that experience, all of that wisdom that all of us could gain from has gone with him. Although he has planted seeds in so many of us, but there was so much he could have given, so much more he could have given to the world that we all ended up losing, or missing rather. In the book, Honorable Adisa, I have to remember how to say that. Honorable Adisa talks about, he heard a message from Sam Adeyemi where it talks about the hierarchy, the Maslow hierarchy of needs, where, at the bottom is survival, and then when you move all the way to self-actualization at the top. And he talked about how Pastor Sam Adeyemi challenged him to, all of us rather, to flip that upside down. Like, why wait to the end for self-actualization? Why don't you start with self-actualization and serve others? And he gave a really good example of, if I tell all of you now that I'm hungry or I need something, I guarantee by the end of the day, my house will be filled with it. Because I have served people, they are ready and willing to serve me back. So he challenged the audience, of course, challenging Honorable Adisa, who in turn has challenged all of us, not just to move up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but also where we are today, what can we do when it comes to significance, self-actualization, and a purpose beyond profit?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now let's move to chapter 20 of the book, the Jagba question. Should I stay in Nigeria or should I go abroad? This is a question on every young Nigerian's mind. Every young professional is thinking about it because of reasons. Thank you, sir. Because of reasons we all know about. But what do you say about Honorable Adisa's framework regarding this? Not the decision he made, but what he says many young Nigerians should think about before making that kind of decision.
I really like how he broke it down when he talked about, staying in UK for some time, coming back home, and he sees himself as a builder. And I do believe it depends on who you are. If you are looking for opportunity, 200 plus million people, where there are still gaps in the system that you can fill the gap, you can do a lot of good, you can make good money, Nigeria is your place. If you're looking for security, comfortability, if you're looking for several other key factors, then perhaps you might need to look in another place as well. And when I'm using the word security, I'm talking about, sometimes in Nigeria we can have volatility and several other things. So it depends on what you are looking for, and it depends on what you are willing to live with and work with. So I think either way is perfectly fine, and my Oga is coming to tell us that my time is up. I think either way, it's perfectly fine. You need to find what works for you, but make sure, regardless of the one you are looking at, build a strategy that will work for you, find mentors within that space, and work very, very hard. Because success will come after the hard work, depending, or not necessarily dependent on where you are. Wherever you are, you can be successful. Build a plan, execute your plan, work with mentors, and success is inevitable.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so last question for every one of you on character, influence, and of course, purpose. Especially for the young Nigerians watching online, the Glance Movement. Based on the 3 aspects of this book that you've spoken about, what questions do you think they should talk about based on character? You're going to tell us the question they should talk about based on influence. You let us know on purpose. They should talk about in their Glance Movement clubs about this book. We'll start with you, Mrs. Osai.
Thank you. So Seyi's book, why I love it is it's not theoretical. It's very practical. Beyond the fact that, it illustrates, it's grounded in his life story. And it's not just celebrating the fact that he got appointed into a position at the age of 27. He did something with that position. Now, I think that if I were to focus on character, the book is beyond just a great read, it's a toolkit. And that's why I really strongly encourage that we use it in civic spaces. If we can send it into school settings, community settings. I even want it in my own, spaces, Seyi, because I want our young people to be grappling with the tensions they talk about. He gives frameworks. I've always been afraid of the boiling frog syndrome. You know that, picture this, the scenario they paint that if the frog stays long enough in the water, it's boiling so gradually, the frog doesn't know when it's been, it's morphed, it's dead. In other words, conscience is dead, or it has switched allegiances from a moral standpoint. So you always worry, because when you say, it's very easy to sit here and say, Seyi says, life is not a binary. But if we're looking at life as a spectrum, then at what point am I losing my moral core? Because it's sometimes not obvious, right? So he helps by providing a framework. And these are things that I think we need to tease out in conversations. I even have questions for him, because some aspects of the framework for me were not settled. So I think it even opens up conversation for us in terms of peer settings, because like I think you pointed out, it's been pointed out that this book, goes beyond the political space. In every space where we have to cooperate with people to advance a purpose or a mission, then you're going to come in conflict with, all of these things. How do you maintain your lens or keep your focus on doing, what you ought to do while managing these complexities of people? Because a plan is always perfect in the blueprint, but the minute you put people inside it has scattered, right? So he gives powerful frameworks, and I think on character, I recommend that young people, everybody in life, whatever you want to do differently, you want to reform something, you want to transform something, you want to change something, you want to sustain something, as long as you're grappling with that question, you need to be discussing. And beyond discussing with others, be meditating. The book itself could be a devotional. You could use it in the because he prescribes questions you can ask yourself. So you can be in conversation with yourself so that you're processing and organizing, and you yourself recognizing, where am I? Was I the same version yesterday? Or am I more tolerant of certain things?
Thank you.
Who is it? Who's benefiting? Is it because of my selfish ends? Or is it because I want to strategically maintain an alliance so that I can advance something that benefits the room,
everybody,
not me? So these are questions that I think the book gives us a framework to address.
Thank you very much. To influence now.
It's two ways. One, how am I influencing? How am I being influenced? And I think the book presents that opportunity with the frameworks as well. So on both sides, what's the consequence of my behavior and my engagement when I show up? How collaborative I am. Why is it even important to be collaborative in the first place? How collaborative am I? And then when seeking collaborations, what are those things that I should do and position myself? And so the book just helps with that regarding influence. Thank you.
Thank you. Purpose.
When it comes to purpose, many times we feel like, when I arrive at this goal or this place of significance, or beyond the bag, as Honorable Adisa calls it in the book, we feel like when you reach there, all is well and there is nothing more to life. There is a lot more to life. I guarantee you, when you get there, there'll be a time when you feel like, is this it, or is this just it? And I want you to think about significance. I want you to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process through, but also, what can I do to start adding value today? What can I do to be able to add value to other people? Think about the story of the MP that I shared. What can I do in my own little way, whether it's through my words, through my action, whether it's writing books? What is it I can do to start adding value to the ones by my side, and then to the ones that are right behind me as well? Because you have an opportunity to pull people up, you have an opportunity to encourage those around you, and you also have an opportunity to be able to encourage those that are ahead and also help them, keep them in check as well. So it's really important to think in that limelight.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for all our panelists today. They've read the book very carefully. And I mean, from this conversation, you can tell that this isn't just a summary. This is a reflection to every one of us, from character to influence to purpose. What are we passing down to the young leaders coming behind us and those looking up to us? Thank you all so much for your time. My name is Tolu Thompson. It's been a fantastic time moderating this panel session. Please, Honorable Adisa, please can you join us for the group photograph? Thank you very much.
I'd like the chairperson to please join us too, and Mrs. Adisa, please join us. Thank you. This wasn't just a panel, it was perspective, wisdom, and vision in motion. Let's give them a round of applause, please. This is the first time I've been to a book launch and the book is reviewed like this. Let's give them a round of applause. If it's your first time too, make it memorable, please. Thank you very much. There are some truths we cannot run away from. Nigeria is a nation of young people, vibrant, energetic, and full of potential. Yet, thank you very much. Yet many of them, many, living and navigating a quiet disillusionment, a gap between what is possible and what is experienced. The real question before all of us this afternoon is, how do we create purpose? How do we create new leaders? How do we forge a new nation? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's give Honorable Seyi Adisa a resounding round of applause. I'd like to welcome our special guest, the Honorable Minister Jumoke Oduwole. Can I have a round of applause for her, please? Mrs. Seyi Adisa, a hug for your husband when you have the slightest opportunity. A round of applause for them. Most distinguished Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, thank you very much for coming. A round of applause for him. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, former Ademola Ali. A round of applause, please. Our darling sister, who I hope didn't come all the way from the Big Heart, Delta State. If she did, I would arrange for my private jets to take her back. But you would have to wait until I buy it. Honorable Marilyn Okowa Daramola, a round of applause for her. The good Professor Shola Ajayi, Vice Chancellor, Ajimobi Technical University, Oyo State. A round of applause for him. Our darling sister, Inni Abimbola. Can I have a round of applause for her? My brother, teacher, mentor, builder of men and resources, Fela Durotoye. Let's welcome him, please. Ademola Ali. A round of applause for Ademola Ali, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Bolaji Rekpete is plenty. Can I have a round of applause for him? My brother, Honorable Idris Abiola Ajimobi, a round of applause for him. I don't know if Honorable Sheon Fakorede is in yet, but let's have a round of applause for him. My sister Ajay, I've not seen her. A round of applause. Pastor Toyosi, KP Koladaisi, and the representative, Honorable Kayode Akinolu. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we want to shock you a little. I will ask the person in charge of the lights to do what the person in charge of the lights to get ready to do what he should do when we're about to watch the video. But I'd like to invite, at this point in time, our very special guest, the Honorable Minister, who has left a tight schedule to be with us this morning. Please, let's welcome Jumoke Oduwole. A round of applause for her. And please do not stop clapping until she gets to the stage. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning. morning, everybody. Her Excellency, Mrs. Ajimobi, Honorable Seyi Adisa, and his beautiful wife, friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I just came by because I know this story. And because the first time I listened to Honorable Seyi Adisa speaking, we were together at an event, and I was waiting while he was speaking. And it was as if he was speaking from my mind. His sentences were like my sentences. I said, who is this person? We'd never met. And so when we did meet in the speaker room, I said, you know, it's so interesting. Anyway, the long and short of it is that we're kindred spirits in public service, and it's been a few years now. He hasn't changed. He's just grown and grown and grown. And so when I came to know the story, just come to my home, speak with my husband and I, and he would just chat and chat and chat. Ah, you're 27? How did this happen? How did this? Let me take this opportunity to specially recognize the Ajimobi family. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for everything His Excellency did for Honorable Seyi and the whole family, and for taking him as your son. He calls you mommy. And it's not just because, it's because you're actually like a second mother to him. For someone to come into the public eye and into public sector at 27, I only know very few, maybe you, Mark Okoye, just a few of you I know, who are able to navigate with humility, navigate respectfully in a conservative space of dealing with public and civil servants, often many years older than you, and being effective for your principle. It says a lot about your character. It says a lot about who you are. And so today I just wanted to come by because I do have to go. Lagos State, I have a commitment that I have to attend. It's a 1 o'clock one, and I don't like to be late. And so I just wanted to come by in person. He had said, please send a video, but I thought if I can, let me come and say to you, Seyi, that I'm proud of you, that your best is yet to come. We've had many conversations about what next, and that I know that this book is a treasure, and I'm glad that you've shared it with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Please, when you get to Abuja, tell Mr. President I'm just 27 and I want appointments. Thank you very much. Honorable Torulokwe Shadikbe, thank you very much for coming. God bless you. We'll take a quick picture. Ajimobi, please join us for this picture. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very soon, we'll be shocking quite a lot of us. Nigeria has probably one of the youngest population in the world, I'm told. Photograph, please hold on, ma'am. Hold on. Can I have Mr. Femi Banigbe? Okay, we'll do that later. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, lights out, please. What is the future of Nigeria if we keep going like this? How do our young people intend to take over? Well, what will administration look like? What are our young people saying? Please sit back, relax, and watch this little vox pop we put together.
In a country full of dreams, there is a generation fighting to be seen, fighting to be heard, and fighting to lead. So what silent fears do you nurture as a young Nigerian?
Oh, that one go far. It's about how I'm gonna use this my certificates.
I've been to several spaces where I've been told I'm too young to achieve a certain goal. I've had ideas I wanted to share, but because people in the room were far older than me age-wise, I couldn't say anything, and I was called dumb and stupid and childish just because my idea was coming from a young person. I've also been in organizations where I should have been handed leadership responsibilities, and I was told just because I'm a woman, I should be the secondary executive. I can't be the leader because I'm female. And that particular mindset has so much limited me in this life that it took so much for me to be able to rise up to my potential.
No, unemployment has gone beyond measurement. It's no more in rate, it's levels. And it is so bad right now that before, as a student, if you even study safe, I wonder if you can even use your certificate to do anything. Funnily, my mother herself, now graduate, she graduated from law, University of Ibadan, funnily. But she's selling clothes. So like unemployment is really beyond measurement now in the country.
I can say lack of employment. Students will finish school like this, they will be going up and down for work. There's no work. Even it makes some students, it makes some people not to believe in education again, because this lack of business. Okay, if I go through all this stress of school now, I finish, there's no work. So what's my gain of coming to school? And there's no support also. It's only if you know people, you can go higher in this country. If you don't have any connection, no more, it's very hard. And also, as a lady, if you even see an opportunity to be in a company, even if you have the right grade, they will still be telling you, say, you know, now you used to do this, now if you want to get this, you have to give this. Sure, you understand. So this country is something else for all we youth, especially ladies. If you want a job, you are going to give something else down.
And so for me, I actually want to venture, I want to go into custom, I want to be a custom personnel. To me, I don't want to go there just to start from a sergeant level. I really want to start from a good level, because they even said if you can own your masters or a PSC holder, you can start from some levels.
There's no way in this country you are going to just wake up and say you want to start a business. First of all, you have to get money. Money is the major thing. You can't do anything aside money. You're going to rent a shop, get goods, and you cannot just go there and beg them and tell them that you are going to give them money later. Capital is needed. Those people saying you can start a business without any capital, that's wrong, and that's scam, I'm sorry to say. So raising capital in Nigeria is very, very difficult.
There are a lot of ideas for business that I have that I don't even have the capital for it. I have my own personal business, guys. By the grace of God, I'm running it because there's no money. You give student prizes for something, they will help you price it down, even more than 50% of what they're even meant to price down. The fact that I don't have anybody sponsoring my life, if I get opportunity to jump like this, I will not think twice. If I don't go, I'm gone. No waiting, what did I do for Nigeria before?
If you are given a guide in form of a book to make a headway out of these challenges, are you going to read the book?
I will read it because I really look forward to see something that can guide me and help me to journey faster.
Definitely, I'm going to read it so that since I'm going to find solution inside that book, I will read it.
Come on, give me, please. I love books. Books they open your mind, especially when they are written by people who have experience. Please, involve me. I would love to read it.
Okay, so definitely I'm going to read it because I am having a particular problem and there's a solution to the problem. So definitely I'm going to take the book.
I'm not a book reader, to be honest. And with the fact that everybody is just writing right now, they are just writing. But if I get a book, I will try it out.
If we get a book, we'll try it out. Now the book is here, ladies and gentlemen. But what is so special about this book? How do we hope that people will get to read it? We'll be hearing about that later. How do we make the right people that should read it? But before then, let's take a few endorsements. I'd like to start with a woman of impact, a driven leader with a strong background in business and strategic development. Welcome, Mrs. Ini Abimbola. A round of applause for her, please. She doesn't talk for long, so I'll just give her 2 minutes. A round of applause for her.
I was saying to Seyi that my doctorate gave me pain. So please, it is Dr. Ini Abimbola. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor to be here and to stand here before you to give this commendation for this book. I haven't read the book, but I am Seyi's mentor, at least one of his mentors. And I'm not sure we've met for very long, but somehow I think that what endeared us to each other was really our passion about governance. I've played in that space for quite a while. I was a consultant at the African Union some 20 years ago. And for me, it has always been the question around what gives in Nigeria. I lived in Ethiopia for 10 years. I worked as a consultant at the African Union. I worked as a consultant at the UN Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, in Addis Ababa. I did a lot of work working on the Solemn Declaration on Gender Equality in Africa, working with the 53 heads of state. I did quite a bit of work around West Africa, the Kofi Annan Peace Building Institute, creating some frameworks for what we call the rehabilitation of ex-child soldiers in Sierra Leone and Liberia from the Liberian War. I was traumatized for years just seeing children as young as 8 who had become hardened criminals by reason of the war. I visited Rwanda, and for 2 years, I wake up in cold sweat just thinking of the capacity of the human mind to do evil. There's a question that serious people are asking quietly. And I think that as much as we want to talk about the young people and leadership, we also want to ask ourselves in the room, because I don't see so many 27-year-olds in the room. I see those of us that are above 27. And those of us that are in our 60s, which is the age where you begin to think about legacy. And the question is, where are Nigeria's next leaders? Are we preparing them? Do we even think about it? I'm not talking about performing leaders. I'm not talking about loud leaders, not leaders who have mastered the optics of authority while remaining very hollow at the core, but leaders with character, leaders with preparation, leaders who have done the interior work that governance demands before they are handed the exterior power. We've never had that. I'm a born, bred, buttered Nigerian. I like to say born, bred, buttered, garnished in Lagos. Omo Eko Gidi. We are the Jinle. But I'm not from Lagos. But I'm a Nigerian. The honest answer for many young people today, as we've seen from the Vox, the video that just showed, there's a gap. And I was saying it to, Seyi's wife, when he was asking about what do we need in Nigeria? It seems as if we are asleep. And I don't know how we that are sleeping are going to wake up the young people. We have gone numb. The governance that we see is not the governance that Nigeria deserves. Years ago at the African Union, when they gather, we sit at the corners in the room taking notes. If Nigeria hasn't spoken, Africa hasn't spoken. We have the numbers, but we do not have the capacity. And that capacity is what we are not able to hand over to our young people. The young people are right when they say that they don't want to join politics. And that's why I'm so glad about the book that Seyi wrote, because it's telling it as it is. Sometimes when someone that has been in there says exactly what they saw, perhaps it prepares you. For me, Leading at 27 is not a self-help book dressed in political clothing. It is a serious intervention in a serious crisis. Nigeria is a nation of extraordinary young people. We talk about it. We're energetic, we're creative, globally connected. And yet we are hemorrhaging at every level. Not because the talent is absent, but because the formation is absent. The mentorship, the frameworks, the honest conversations about what it actually costs to lead in a country like Nigeria. And that's what we need to institutionalize. And as I commend this book, I am asking today, because there are three key things Seyi pointed out, or Seyi stands for: clarity, courage, and of course, passion. But I ask, please, that as we take this book, as we buy this book, I want you to think about the people, the young people in your sphere of influence. The young people say, oh, nobody will give you a chance. When you bring ideas, they say you're too young for that. But as older people in the room, I want us to think about it. Are the people that are too young for it, are they our children? Because we don't say that our children are too young. Are they other people's children? Now, I want you to think about your sphere of influence. And when you take this book, I want you to, I think that that's what is missing. For those of us that have gone through it, that have accomplished some level of significance, I actually liked that. So you're successful, yes. But what is the basis of your success if you are not significant? And what's the significance of your legacy if there are no people to carry on this legacy? So as we buy this book, as we walk away with this book, I need you to read it. And when you read it, I need you to, those pockets of influence that you have, those young people, please put them together. Sometimes it could just be lunch once in 3 months, whatever works for you, and just have serious conversations. If you have had conversations with the young people we have now, you will know we're not bleeding. We are dying as a nation. And for me, Leading at 27 is the answer to what needs to change. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Seyi.
In other words, this book is not just timely, it's a serious intervention in a serious situation. At a time when direction is scarce and questions are many, it offers clarity, purpose, and a pathway for young leaders to rise. Dr. Ini Abimbola, a round of applause for her, please. Now let me move to a Nigerian leadership expert, business consultant, and motivational speaker, founder of the Gemstone Group and president of the Gemstone Nation Builders. He has lived a life dedicated to raising transformational leaders. He was also the 2019 presidential candidate of the Alliance for New Nigeria and is widely respected for his advocacy for value-based leadership and youth development. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fela Durotoye. Neighbor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, I didn't hear anybody respond. Good afternoon. Our mother of the day and the chairperson of this occasion, the former First Lady and now Ambassador Designate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency, Dr. Florence Ajimobi. Thank you, not just for being the mother of a day, but for being truly the mother of the author. I wanted to please appreciate the motherly role that Her Excellency has played in not only helping to nurture an incredible leader and a gift to our generation, but if you would also please allow me to stand on the existing protocols that were set by our mother so distinguishedly well. Having said that, to the freshest, best-selling author, we call it as it is, global best-selling author, the dynamic, the inspirational, the transformational leader, one time the youngest lawmaker in the Oyo State House of Assembly, the Honorable Seyi Adisa. You've challenged me to think about penning my own stories on my own journeys so far in public service, on the political journey and all of that. So now that I've this is going to inspire me, so thank you for doing that. I think that there needs to be a special recognition for this incredible lady. I call her the power behind the throne. She knows the price of leadership. Seyi may have earned the prize, Z-E, but she pays the price most of the time. Would anybody please help to acknowledge very well Mrs. T. Tolu Adisa. Thank you, Tolu, for just letting Seyi be. Thank you, everyone who's standing. Thank you, I appreciate that. Because most of the time, those who paid the price hardly ever get the recognition when the prize is being celebrated. And I want to thank all my brothers, sisters, and all the distinguished guests in the room. Gosh, I didn't want to go this way, but, I saw my brother of 20 years, Toye Aru, we call him. My brothers, Abiola Salami and Ayo Woduni, did an incredible work there. And then my sisters, oh my God, especially, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole was here, did a fantastic job speaking. My sister-in-law, because she's Tara's sister, the Honorable Marilyn Okowa Daramola, and then my own dear sis of many years, Dr. Eni Abimbola. I also have one person I would like to quickly mention. We've known each other for now going on maybe 33, 34 years. We worked together in an organization called Ventures and Trusts when I started my career. Please help me acknowledge the Honorable Tolu Lokbe Shadikbe. All right, let me try and see if I can make this as quickly as possible. I have two videos I'm going to show you. They're very, very, they're key to the conversation that we're going to have, which most importantly is what Seyi has dealt with and what he represents. But to do that, I want you to help me center your attention on one person around you, either to your left or to your right. I'm going to tell you what you're going to ask them. Just look for somebody. Just make sure you're eyeball to eyeball, you're locked in. Are you ready? Have you found your partner? Make sure that person is looking at you. I don't want that person to be looking away. I can see somebody is looking away there. Is that your partner? So, looking. And ask them, when was the first time you heard the word leader? Somebody say, I guess, how many people here will probably say it was sometime in primary school? Maybe you were about 6, 7 years old or something like that. For me, that was it. I remember the word leader from a song. Not sure how many of you remember it. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Anybody sang that song here? Let me see your hand. Let me know who went to public school and private school, because that was a public school song, right? Okay, everybody sang that song, We're the Leaders of Tomorrow. The challenge was that we didn't realize that what seemed like an innocent song was damaging the leadership psyche of a generation in their most vulnerable mind-setting stage. Why did I say that? Has anybody ever seen tomorrow before? Just when you get to 11:59 of today, hoping to catch tomorrow by its tail, it turns out to be today again. which means that tomorrow is a promise that is never kept. Tomorrow is like a mirage. The closer you get to it, the more it moves away. And therefore, if we are the leaders of tomorrow, what it told us from whilst when we were young was that we were never going to lead today, that our time will never come, that we would always be the leaders of a promise. In fact, we were told the second thing was that we were the leaders of the future. How many people heard that one? That we are the leaders of the future. And quickly we came to realize that the future is not on any of the days of the calendar. The future is not a month or a year on a calendar that is yet to be revealed. Which means very simply that your time of leadership will never come. And yet these were the things we taught so lovingly to a generation, and then sometimes wonder. The third most important thing that I've heard, I don't know if you've heard it before, that Nigeria's problem or Africa's problem is what? I didn't hear you now. So if Africa's problem is leadership, and we've been hearing this from when I was 5 years old, I'm now 55, this means that for the last 5 decades, we've been dealing with a leadership crisis. So what makes leading at 27 such an urgent call when we've been dealing with this same challenge of leadership for the last 60 years, maybe more? Why do we need to deal with it today? Well, there are many reasons, but some of them you have just watched in a video. Is that regardless of whatever it is that is happening, in addition to a leadership crisis, we are facing a challenge for a values-decadent society. And so the young people are looking for role models, and those who they are many times pointing to as role models are not the ones that you and I were told when we were growing up were worthy of emulation. So the call to action by Seyi, sharing his thoughts, is really critical. Really, really critical for such a time like this. The fact that young leaders must emerge who will have the capacity to change not only our nation but our world is critical. I have something I want to show you very quickly if it's ready. It's a 1 minute or so TikTok video that went viral last week, and many people are still sharing it. I'll just like you to quickly take a look at it, and then we'll say something about that. How many people saw this? You saw this? So these are the heads of state who have ruled and in a few cases led our nation state since independence. Some of them came back, like the General Olusegun Obasanjo, and also the General Muhammad Buhari. They were both military generals who came back as civilian presidents. Badu. And I think the most significant question, thank you. The most significant question that we saw in that place was May 2023 to May and then question mark. And that question is not the one that I really want to answer. I think that the one that concerns me more, I'm not sure how many people looked at it, was a trend in not only the age at which these guys assumed leadership, but the state of Nigeria's economy as at when they were in power. So I'm going to give you some statistics that I hope will help. Whatever you draw from these statistics I'm about to show you is up to you. I did not tell you what to draw from it. But here are the ages of Nigeria's heads of state from inception. And these ages range from the youngest, Yakubu Gowon, at 31, to Muhammadu Buhari at 72 when he assumed office. As you know, our current head of state or president was 71 when he assumed office. But here are the ages. Abubakar Tafawa Balewa became prime minister at the age of 47. Nnamdi Azikiwe became president in 1963 at the age of 59. Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi became the head of state through a military coup in 1966 at the age of 41. Yakubu Gowon, a colonel, became a head of state at the age of 31 in 1966 August. Murtala Mohammed took over through a coup d'etat in 1975 at the age of 36. His time was cut short, and Olusegun Obasanjo, at that time, I think it was a lieutenant general, became head of state in 1976 at the age of 38. Shehu Shagari was the second civilian president in Nigeria, and he became head of president in 1979 at the age of 54. Muhammadu Buhari, through a coup d'etat in 1983, became head of state at 41. Babangida became head of state at 44. Ernest Shoneko at 57. Sani Abacha in 1993 at 50. Abdusalami Abubakar at the age of 56. And then President Obasanjo took off his uniform, put on his agbada, and came back as civilian head of state at the age of 62. Succeeded by Umaru Musa Yar'Adua at 55. That's the age I'm at. Then Goodluck Jonathan at 52. And then Muhammadu Buhari at 72. And then our current president, Bola Tinubu, at 71. So you can see that we started very young, but somehow or the other, it seems like the average age has been climbing. Has anybody noticed that? Well, what I can also tell you has been climbing is a very interesting statistic, which is our foreign exchange rate for our currency. So when I was born in 1971, it was Yakubu Gowon who was, at that time, the president or the head of state of Nigeria. And at that time, on March 24, 1971, one Nigerian pound was exchanging for $3, which means that if you took 100 Nigerian pounds to the bank, or you wanted to get an exchange, you would get $300 for 100 Nigerian pounds. By the time I was 5 years old, in 1976, we had changed and transitioned to the Naira, and Lieutenant General Obasanjo was in charge at that time, and one Nigerian Naira was exchanging for $1.33, meaning that if you took 100 Naira to the bank, you would get $133. Fast forward 30 years to 24th of March, same day, 2006. At that time, $1 was now exchanging for 133 Naira. Fast forward 10 years, March 24, exact same day, 2016. And $1 was exchanging for 331 Naira. And then fast forward another 10 years. Last couple of weeks ago, March 24, 2026, and $1 was exchanging for 1,353 Naira. Now you ask, why is this conversation important? Because I think that what Seyi is doing is recalibrating leadership and helping us to understand leadership in a better way so that we can decide what the exchange rate will be 10 years from now. Because some people would easily think that maybe in the next 10 years, March 24, 2036, it could be 3,000, I don't know. Some people might even say 13,000. But that will be dependent on what we call the leadership quotient of our nation. So what is the problem with leadership? And I begin to bring my thoughts to a close. I'm going to show you a very quick video. The problem with leadership can't be leadership. It has to be our understanding of leadership. Nobody can have the same problem for 50 years or 60 years. It has to be the way you understand it. And I think the first challenge we have is that most people think of leaders as the people who rule over us, the people in positions of authority, the people who are older than us, the people who have access to power, people with titles, offices, people with money and wisdom on their side. And for many years, we even heard somebody talk about the Oga at the top, and that became our way of thinking about leadership, Oga at the top. As a leadership expert, I run retreats several times, and I tell people to close their eyes, and then I ask them to point in the direction of leadership. Wherever the leader in that room, the perceived leader, whether it's the CEO, whoever is the highest ranking person, many times you find those guys pointing in that direction. Sometimes you see people pointing up, but few times you see people pointing towards themselves. Leadership is a confusing concept. There are more than 12,500 definitions of leadership, and the world hasn't stopped trying to define it. John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on leadership. So to a large extent, the quality of your life is dependent on not your IQ, not your EQ, emotional quotient, but on your LQ. This is why this book is important. A few years ago, I saw a video that I think that I want to begin to use this to just close my conversations with you and just ask everybody, whatever you can do, please get this book for somebody who is a young person after you yourself have read it. But I saw a video that changed my concept of leadership completely. I hope you will be able to enjoy it. It's just a 2-minute video, and then we'll close.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है सर आइए सर चल चल
I hate this country.
तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले 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 लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाल करे ओ लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाल करे उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो अकड़ के चलो उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो पकड़ के चलो फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले हिंदुस्तान चले चलो.
If you guys didn't clap, I would say this will be the first room that I've ever been in that I showed that video, and Well, you did clap. I've shown this video to more than 2 million people over the last 20 years or so. And what is so incredible is that it is the one video that almost completely reshapes people's understanding of what leadership is. Because it always starts with the conversation around what leadership is not about. So clearly from this video, did we see a leader emerge? Yes or no? Who was the leader? The young boy. Okay, fantastic. So the question now is, what is leadership not about if that young boy was the leader? So leadership is not about what? So for the first time now we're thinking, oh my God, that you are older than me does not make you a better leader than me. In fact, I'm not too young to lead no matter what age I am. Because age has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with leadership. But it took me a while to get to that point. To see that at 27, Seyi was not too young to be a leader, but Seyi recognized that. Most people haven't. All right, leadership is also not about what? Title. And whilst Seyi was blessed to have the title of youngest lawmaker, and we did a lot of, the truth about it was that Seyi was serving and leading, and it was his leadership character that Governor Ajimobi gave the opportunity through a position. Something attracted Seyi at such a risky age for a very distinguished governor. Does somebody understand where I'm coming from? He was a first-time governor at that time. And to put someone this young, he must have seen the leader in Seyi before he gave the title to that leader. Seyi did not become a leader when he got the title of personal secretary. Governor Ajimobi saw the leader and gave the title to him. I think that that's something that we should clap for. So my question is the leader in you speaking? Is the leader in you showing up? Because the leader in you cannot wait for opportunities. It is the leader that is demonstrated that attracts opportunities, titles, position, power, and all of that. So again, Seyi has distinguished himself in showing truly that leadership, even though he was leading at 27, leadership was not about title. We can go on and on and on. But if you want to know what leadership is about, I wouldn't bore you with a leadership lecture. I would ask you, please read the book. In the end, leadership is about character. Seyi has helped us to see. Leadership is about influence. Seyi has helped us to see. Leadership is about living a life of significance. Seyi has done an amazing work. Most people can literally write a leadership book today using AI. You can write about leadership concepts. Very few people can tell stories about leadership. Seyi has done an amazing job living the life of a leader and then penning his life into a work that others can see, especially the next generation. And for this, I would ask if you would all give him a standing ovation and sing with me, "For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow." And so say all of us, hooray! And so say all of us, hooray! And so say all of us, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all. Hip, hip, hip. Thank you very much, Seyi, for doing an amazing job. Can everybody please pledge to getting at least 10 of these, at least 10 of these for somebody that you know, that you love, that you care about. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Fela Durotoye, and for my brothers and sisters from Abeokuta in Ogun State, that word is not buri, it is huri. You may be seated. God bless you. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're now getting to the meat of the matter. I'd like to invite Managing Partner T&A Legal Ayobami Tunde to please do us this honor. A round of applause for Tunde Ayobami.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I have a very simple task. I'm here to talk about and introduce again my brother, my friend, and my partner of 16 years in the law firm. What can I say about Seyi Adisa? Honorable Seyi Adisa, as they say. She is an excellent person. I recall us starting the firm. I'm speaking to the leadership of Seyi. We were at a prayer conference and Seyi said, Ayo, we've worked in a law firm before. Why can't we start a law firm? It sounded very strange. Very strange. Seyi, what do you mean start a law firm? I said, we can start a law firm now. We can do it. We have the resources, we know the people. Seyi has always been a leader. I've seen Seyi dedicated, living his life on these principles. We'll be on holiday and Seyi has planned something. He's going for one course. John Maxwell, Orlando. Pastor Sam is doing something. Pastor Sam is doing something. I'm talking things that has taken, grit to do. Seyi will come to Lagos 3 times a week for different leadership events. And also, just identifying people, following them, understanding their stories. And having gone through this book, all I can say is Nigeria the world is about to see Honorable Seyi Adisa. We know him as a friend, most of us. We know him as, a son. Yes, how can I forget this? Mommy has been mommy. She's our mommy. Not just by deed, but by action and by care. By care. And that care, has built, to Seyi to where he is today. So I would invite us Tolu to read the citation now. Tolu Thompson, can you please come and read the citation so we can welcome my brother to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is indeed an honor to be reading the citation in honor of Honorable Seyi Adisa, a lawyer, legislator, governance architect, and now author. There are individuals whose lives do not merely occupy space in their generation, but define the very standard of what that generation is capable of. Honorable Seyi Adisa is such a man. His story is not one of accident or inheritance. It is the story of deliberate character, consecrated purpose, and the kind of quiet, enduring influence that reshapes institutions and inspires nations. Educated at the University of Birmingham, where he earned the law degree before completing the legal practice course at BPP Law School, Honorable Seyi Adisa built his intellectual foundations with rigor and intentionality. He went further, earning a master's degree in public administration from the University of Birmingham and sharpening his strategic thinking through Harvard's continuing education program. These were not mere academic credentials. They were the instruments of a man preparing himself for the weight of public service. That preparation bore fruit early. Before the age of 40, Honorable Seyi Adisa had already served as principal private secretary to the governor of Oyo State, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, a role that placed him at the nerve center of one of Nigeria's most consequential state administrations. He subsequently rose to serve as the honorable member representing Afijo State constituency in the Oyo State House of Assembly, carrying the mandate and the hope of his people onto the floor of the legislature with dignity and distinction. Beyond the chambers of government, Honorable Seyi Adisa is a co-founder and partner at Tunde and Adisa Legal Practitioners, T&A Legal, a commercial law firm with over 16 years of consistent practice, now spanning Lagos, Ibadan, and Abuja. With over 30 lawyers under its roof, as head of its public policy and government advisory department, he has become the bridge between law and governance that Nigeria's public institutions so urgently need. His service to humanity extends far beyond law and politics. As founder of the African Governance Institute for Development, he has committed himself to training a new generation of leaders and educating citizens on the principles of good governance. Through the Seyi Adisa Development Initiative and the 7-Eleven Foundation, he continues to touch lives through entrepreneurship, education, health, and youth empowerment, because he understands that the true measure of leadership is not what one builds for oneself, but what one builds for others. His impact has not gone unrecognized. He has been named among the top 100 most influential people of African descent under 40 in politics and governance category in the year 2020 by a United Nations affiliate. He was nominated as the most influential young person in Oyo State in the governance category in the year 2022. And in 2023, he received one of the continent's most coveted distinctions, selected as one of the only 22 leaders across Africa for the prestigious Archbishop Desmond Tutu Leadership Fellowship. A fellowship named for a man who believed that leadership is not about power, but about service. It is a fitting honor for a man who has lived that truth. Today, on the 2nd of April 2026, Honorable Seyi Adisa does not merely present a book. It presents a testimony, leading at 27, lessons in character, influence, and purpose. Is a distilled wisdom of life lived with uncommon intention, a gift to every young person who has ever dared to believe that purpose can precede age, that character can outlast position, and that influence, rightly built, needs no loud announcement. It simply speaks for itself. We celebrate him today not just as an author, but a living argument for what African leadership can and must become. May these pages ignite in every reader the same fire that has driven this man to lead, to serve faithfully, and to leave a legacy worthy for the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation and a resounding applause, let us celebrate the man as the reason why we're all gathered here today. The indefatigable, the pace setter and the trendsetter himself. The one, the only, Honorable Seyi Adisa. Please, we can do better than that. Let's give him a resounding applause.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the honor. Please, let's still have our seats. Thank you so much. Where do I start? I really want to say a big thank you to everybody that has come here and to everybody watching online. I've received a few messages from people online telling me they are watching, and I really want to say thank you. But I also want to, maybe most importantly, start by thanking God. Thanking God for, who I have become and who He's making me to become. I'm not there. I'm on a journey, but I know that He's refining me and He's building me to become all I can be. So I want to thank God first and foremost. I also want to thank, there's so many people. I'm trying to cut the time. We started 30 minutes late, but it would be wrong for me not to recognize very, very distinguished personalities that have come here. My
boss, as you probably hear me say a lot, taught me many things. So please help me to recognize my wife, Mrs. Tolulokwe Adisa. She, as Fela Drotoye, one of my mentors, has said, is the one that paying the price often. And today I honor you and I celebrate you and thank you for everything that you do. I must thank my boss, Senator Abiola Ajimobi. If you read this book, you will see Thank you. Thank you. Senator Ajimobi didn't know me, but he gave me a platform at 27. All right, may his soul continue to rest in peace. I want to thank my mother that is here. I have many mothers, but Mommy Ajimobi has continuously been a support and a source of inspiration to us all, to my family, and to us in politics in Oyo State. So, Mommy, I want to thank you very much. There's so many people here. I'll just quickly try and go through the list. We have distinguished senators in our midst. Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari, I recognize you. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Thank you. The Minister of Trade has left, but I recognize her in absentia. Thank you, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. I want to thank our House of Reps that are here, and some are also represented. Particularly, I want to mention Honorable Tolulokwe Akonde Shadikpe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with us. Current and former members of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Delta State House of Assembly, Honorable Marilyn, and my friends from Lagos Assembly as well. Thank you all for coming. A lot of my friends, I see all of you. Because of time, please allow me to just go straight into why we're here. Thank you, Ayobami Tunde. He's been my brother for many years. All right. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, let's do this. All right. So leading at 27, recently I was speaking to a 27-year-old, and I couldn't help but look at him when he told me his age. And I was looking at him like, so this was what I was when they gave me that platform. And that speaks volumes. So I want to share with you why I wrote this book, what I hope it achieves, and more importantly, the movement that we are launching today. You may have heard our MC speak a little bit about glance a few times, but I'm going to tell you why. So recently, about a few months ago, someone called me. She was PPS in Kwara State. And she was asking me a lot of questions. Clearly a brilliant lady. Sorry, please, can I recognize my pastors? Pastor Tony and Toyosilawa, thank you so much for coming. Thank you, sir. They've been here. They came from Ibadan this morning. Thank you so much as well. I could go on and on, but please just let me go straight to it. And so this lady, of course, had come from the private sector, brilliant lady, but there was a problem. She was facing politics in the public sector. She was getting burnt out. She was getting disillusioned. And she was saying, Seyi, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. There's no point. And not just her story, many others. And as I listened to her story, I heard my own story. I heard how she was being sabotaged. I heard about opposition she was facing. I heard about all of these things where integrity felt like liability and the temptation to just give in and give up. And I realized that the honest truth is that we are losing a generation of young leaders. That's even those that try. Not because they are weak, but because they are unprepared. They've even taken the step to come into government, right? They've taken the step to move into leadership. They have character, they have vision. They have all these things we teach them in schools. But nobody has told them it will be very hard, or it will be this hard. And certainly nobody gave them a roadmap. And so, when she was speaking to me, I was like, okay, do I refer her to John Maxwell? Do I refer her to all of these people? But I couldn't really find a book of someone that was from Nigeria, still in the trenches, that had been in this field, that understood the challenges of leading in Nigeria. And so I said, Seyi, I think we need to write a book. And that's how we got here. Before now, I wanted to write an autobiography when I turned 40. Then somebody told me nobody cares about your story. And then later I said I would write about politics strictly. And then I realized that wasn't going to work. And so when I heard this young lady speak to me, it clicked. It's about the people. It's about writing for those coming behind. And so some people ask me, why am I doing this? I'm still in the game. I'm still in politics. I'm still very much active. And that's probably why it's so important that I speak about the challenges in the industry. And please do not take this as a political book. It's a leadership book because the same principle apply. I know in the time I've spent in the academia, I've seen politics in academia. I've seen politics in the private sector. There's politics everywhere. And I remember that if you can translate these principles, they will help you. You will have to make choices between integrity and advancement. You will make choices. Should I stay in Nigeria or should I go? And the 27-year-olds are not just literally 27 reading this book. They are making those choices right now. They need somebody that went through it and somebody like them that understands the terrain in Nigeria. And so this is why I wrote this book, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. A roadmap for young Nigerians, young leaders navigating Nigeria's most challenging terrains. But writing a book is easy. No, it wasn't easy. It's 3 years. But getting it to actually change lives, that's the harder part. So this is what I'm hoping this book will do. I'm hoping that this book changes the narrative about young leaders in Nigeria. We saw from the video, we heard from our speakers, is either we are celebrating leaders and saying you are the few leaders of tomorrow, your future is bright, or we criticize them. We say, you generation, you are too entitled, you Gen Zs. You don't want to pay your dues. Neither narrative is helpful. Young leaders are certainly capable, but they are navigating unprecedented challenges. They need tools, not just our applause. They need roadmaps, not just our criticism. So I want us to shift this conversation from will they step up to how do we help them? How do we equip them to step up well? I want us to shift this conversation to make it about us helping the next generation. I also hope that this book becomes a practical manual. A lot of our reviewers spoke about how I was intentional about putting frameworks so that after you've read all the stories, you can look at it as a framework and apply it to your life. And that's why every chapter ends with an application section and personal reflection questions. Because knowing isn't enough. You have to wrestle on how to apply it and how to make it yours. And so when a 25-year-old should ask you about facing opposition, you tell them, go to chapter 13. And when they ask you, should I go or should I stay, you refer them to chapter 20. Everything in this book is not theory. It's about my own struggles and the lessons I have learned, how I have failed and I have had victories. And every question at the end will help those young leaders apply it to their own journey. The last thing I want this book to achieve is that I want it to multiply. Not just that young people read this book, but groups of young leaders read it together. The real impact isn't about us trying to reach 10,000 young people. It's about those 10,000 young people trying to reach another 10,000. And that's real multiplication. This brings me to how we are going to make this happen. I started by saying GLANCE earlier on. If we could have the GLANCE logo. GLANCE means governance, leadership, and national civic engagement. GLANCE is a club we have already launched at the University of Ibadan. And we are certainly hoping that today we will commit to starting off by putting books in the hands of young people that will be moving through these GLANCE clubs across Nigeria. In those clubs, they will have peer-to-peer learning groups. They will read the chapters, they will discuss it, and they will be able to really, really personalize it for their own journeys. We're going to universities because that's where character is formed. That's where young people make the choices that will define their lives. That's where Nigeria's next generation of leaders are right now. Our goal is that 10,000 young leaders across Nigerian universities will be equipped with this roadmap leading at 27. They will learn together in their groups, and at the end, they will commit to raising 10 other young leaders like themselves. And so the idea is that over a year, in 30 weeks to be precise, the first week they get the book, they will get an introduction to why we are doing this. In the second week, they will form their groups. They will form what we call transformation tables of about 6 people in their group. And they will commit to working on this journey together. So they have accountability partners. And these accountability partners make them safe spaces to work together. And then between week 3 to 29, they will go through the 27 chapters and all the application sections. They will read these chapters individually. They will answer the application and reflection questions. Then they will meet in their peer groups to discuss what they are learning. And of course, they will hold each other accountable. By week 30, that will be their commitment week. And that's where they decide the 10 other people that they are going to commit to leading or passing this same book and this same knowledge to start their own journeys. 10 more people that will need the roadmap. 10 more that will raise another 10. And that's how we will go from 10,000 to 100,000. And that's how this movement will multiply. And so this is where you come in. You probably observe there are not many 27-year-olds in the room. They are online. The movement would not work without you. We want to establish these clubs across universities, but we need your support to reach 10,000 young leaders. And so I'm inviting us to partner to sponsor a GLANCE club, fund books for an entire club, whether it's 30 books, 50 books, 100 books, for students at a university, put these books in their hand. Or you may even ask us to establish a club in a university you care about, maybe your alma mater, a university in your state, so that we can expand beyond Ibadan. Or you could just tell us to partner with you institutionally. Maybe you represent an organization or a ministry or whatever it is, a church, and so we can scale this movement across Nigeria. Of course, you don't have to do all 3, but just pick one, and pick one today, we plead. Because this is how movements work. Not one person doing everything, but many people each doing something. Imagine this. 10,000 young leaders in GLANCE clubs across Nigerian universities, meeting weekly in their peer groups, walking through leading at 27 like Emmanuel, holding each other accountable, applying the lessons to real decisions they are making right now and will be making in the future. When they graduate, they enter ministries, they enter companies, they enter NGOs, they enter startups. Of course, they will face sabotage, but then they won't quit because they've read chapter 13. They will face the JAPA question, but then they can decide with clarity whether they're supposed to stay or go. When they achieve success, they will have read chapter 19 and they will understand the difference between success and significance. Each of them now raises another 10 more, and then 10,000 becomes 100,000, and then 100,000 becomes a movement. And so 10 years from now, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria will look different. Not because of one book, but because 10,000 principled leaders who have the roadmap when they needed it the most have also multiplied it in others. And that's why this glance movement is what we are launching today, in addition to this book launch and presentation. And the question I ask each and every one of us today is, will you join us in building this movement? Thank you very much.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's dig into the deep recesses of our hearts and answer the question he has asked. Will you join us in building this movement? Let's give Honorable Seyi Adisa a resounding round of applause. Henceforth, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be running at the speed of light. I'd like to invite you to please see what we hope to achieve, amount, and what it does. I'd like to invite everybody on the front row to please step on stage alongside our chairperson. Would like to do a public presentation of the book and unveil. Author, don't sit down. Please, can I have Your Excellency, ma'am, most distinguished Senator, our dear guests, our VC, Honorable Idris, Mrs. Ajayi, Mr. KD, a great man once said, you have not done anything until you've done something for someone who cannot pay you back. This launch is not about helping Seyi Adisa. It is about building our nation. It's about rebuilding our nation. I'd like mommy to please, God bless you, ma'am. Please, let's come closer. So please, let's join them to be.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I hereby unveil this book to the glory of God and to the benefit of every upcoming leader that will have the opportunity and privilege of going through it. In Jesus' mighty name.
Every second, every hour, every day.
People will think that's Seyi's picture on the book, but if you look well, you see that is my face. Can we have copies of the book for everybody on stage, please? Copies of the book, please, for everybody on stage to hold up. And as they hold it up, they'll start supporting the movement.
Thank you, my Father. Oh, baby's okay. Go jam me cool. What to baby, baby? I'm overwhelmed by the endless love you have for me. A million tongues can never be enough for the things that you've done for me. Thank you, my Father. Hey. Second every hour, every day. January to December.
Okay, please, let's move forward. Come together and hold up the book. Let's not frown. We know. Let's not frown, please. Let's not frown. Let's smile because we know that Nigeria is getting a rejig. To the glory of God, to the emancipation of our nation, and to true gianthood in Africa and the world. I've been told to move the microphone round. I know my mom is retired, so I will not disturb her, but she has said, disturb me.
Benga, I hope you don't get into trouble. So, I want to be a founding patron. And I'm going to take 50 books today and give it to the Abiola Ajimobi Technical University so that we can have more leaders from that university. Thank you.
I hope the Vice Chancellor does not think he's not going to lunch. No, you are not together, Mommy. He's on his own.
Well, as is the tradition of the Durotoye family, we don't announce exactly what we are going to do, but I promise you that Seyi, we are not just going to be a one-time supporter. We're consistently going to make sure that this gets as far as possible. So I promise you that. That's a pledge.
Okay, I forgot. I told the Honorable that if anybody says I'm not going to announce, he should deduct $1 million from what he's paying me today. It won't be right for me to go on without money. So let that be the last I will not announce. Most distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic, strong man of Oyo politics, the biggest transformer of youth in that area. Let's transform Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Benga. Mommy, on behalf of Seyi, I thank you and my Oga for doing us proud, because this is not about Seyi alone. It's about us that serve under your husband. It's something that any of us, even those watching online, will be happy with. Benga, I'm buying 50 of this book. I'm buying 150. 50 for Abiola Ajimobi on behalf of my boss. 50 to the newly university in Okeo. Another 50 to Lautech. Make it 150. And I will give you people 2 million naira.
Thank you very much. You just spoke my mind, exactly the same thing I wanted to do. But since you have done it, I will not bother to do it. Honorable.
Well, I think I'm representing Engineer Idisa Livestream here also, apart from the fact that I'm here on my own. So I think I should go with the category of impact sponsor. Yeah.
Well, let me not take it too far from you, sir. Let's not disturb you.
I want to thank the Ajimobi family for making our son and brother proud today. Mommy, thank you so much for being mother to all of us in your state. And for us in Afigio, we are extremely proud of you because Seyi is one of us, and you took him and you have been taking him as your son. And today, he has given us something to be proud of. I will also be a group partner. I'm going to take between 100 copies of this, and I'm going to pay 1.5. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Too many partners spoil the broth. Let's look at founding patrons. I like founding patrons. Sir, you look like a founding patron. Okay, founding pastor.
You know, as a pastor, my primary role is to pray for Seyi. And you can see that God is answering our prayers. He's doing well. But on behalf of myself and my family, I'm going to take some. I will take the seed giver, 200K. And also, on behalf of the church, we are going to take another seed giver, 200,000. Thank you.
God bless your ministry, sir. Honorable Idris. Olori Abi.
For my brother, Honorable Seyi Adisa, who has been a great brother to me in a sea full of sharks and lions. So, but on behalf of the chairman of NRS, he would support you, his brother, by being a founding patron. And then on behalf of myself, I'm not NRS chairman, so I will support you with ₦1 million for 10 books.
Seed giving founding patron. I love you. Uncle KP, how are you, sir?
Well, Seyi, many congratulations. But as you know, I'm mommy's son, so she has generously donated on behalf of the family. However, we also have a small institution called Koladaisi University, and I'll be taking 50 books there as well. Thank you.
May my institution be as small as Koladaisi University. Mrs. Ajayi, how are you, man?
Congratulations to my dear brother, Seyi Adisa. I'm so proud of you. I will be committing to be a growth partner. Thank you.
My darling sister, you know, the people with the big hearts like to give big. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Seyi. I was looking at all categories and I just realized that I'm what I am today because of the impact you have in my life. So I'm committing to be an impact sponsor. Thank you.
Okay. You want to correct yourself? Olori Ebi wants to talk.
I made a mistake. Like my newest mentor, whom I didn't get his name, but I will introduce myself to him after. I would be a growth partner as well.
Thank you. Mommy, over to you, man. Mommy Shadikwe.
Good afternoon, everybody. And to our mommy, she is really our mommy, for those who don't know. Seyi, congratulations. Honestly, you don't disappoint me at all. And because of that, in my own little way, I am going to support, you all know which university, the Technical University, Abiola Ajimobi Technical University, and I'm going to support as an impact sponsor. But I must clarify that I cannot do that at one go. I will do it over time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now to Seyi's brother, T and A.
All right. I will support, as a firm, Tiani Legal. would be impact sponsors and to support this journey, and we would work with Seyi to ensure that we set up a glance club in University of Lagos.
I didn't hear, but I hope the person recording heard. Okay, Mrs. Abimbola, Dr. Mrs. Inni Abimbola. I remember when we were at the United Nations together.
I was hoping he would forget me, so I kept inching backward. I will be a seed giver, but I know that over time, this will also increase because of the work that she and I are doing in governance. So I will start with the seed giver.
Thank you, Doctor. Where's Khalid? I saw Khalid somewhere. I know you love Nigeria. Come up, come up. Come. Let me allow you go, but Arthur, this is one of the things you will suffer. You won't go anywhere. Let me introduce my brother to my brother. Where's Khalid? Khalid, where you are? Khalid. Oh, I heard Khalid. Don't worry, take your picture. We will not disturb your picture. Where's Khalid? Khalid, where you can just talk. I'll help you hold the microphone. Where do you want to be on that table?
Giver, that's it.
Oh, can I have the table back on the screen, please? Or should I just help you? No. Okay. I'm a good helper. Engineer, please, let's have
Seat giver, please.
a seat giver. Can I have a round of applause for Khalid? I thought I saw my brother Benga. Or is that Jide? Is that Jide or Benga? It's Jide. Come, Jide, come support this dream. Can I have a round of applause for him, please? Mr. Shewoloke Tui, Best of Nollywood, I greet you. K. Manchi Automobiles and Hotels, I greet you. And if you're anybody on this weekend, let me do free advert. Don't miss Laugh Matters at Jogo Center, Easter Sunday. Benga, where you at? Jide, sorry. You know there's a big problem in your family. You all look alike.
Nice man. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone.
DJ, bring it down.
So, since I was co-opted by, I don't know, by force or by design, I'll be a seat giver as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would hate to keep you longer than is necessary. If you look at your program, on the reverse, Mr. Kayode Oglo, come support your brother. God bless you. A round of applause for him. Thank you very much. And please, I'll need you to call our brother, Dr. Zach Adedeji. You yes. Oh, God bless you. Oh yeah. Mommy, okay, he will do his own.
Okay, that's fine.
Mommy, I love you. I love you. I love you. You know. Mr. Kayode Ogulo, number 2, is a transformational partner. Okay, so Like I was saying, we would not. Mr. Toyi Arulogun. Okay. Please check the reverse of your program. You have the pledge side on it. We don't want to run this over and over. We crave your indulgence to please support a movement. I love Nigeria should not be by mouth alone. The youths are the future, should not be by mouth alone. Please, the account number is there. You can fill it, and I'd like the ushers, all the ladies leading at 27, to at least collect 1 or 2. So please go around and ask those who have not done anything for their form. If they need pens, please give them pens. Thank you very much. God bless you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we thank you. We appreciate you for coming out today. Without you here, this would not have been possible. I'd like to invite his jewel of inestimable value, the woman that makes his heart beat, the woman who pays the price when he gets the prize, Mrs. Tolu Adisa. A round of applause for her, please. No. A round of applause for her. Or you don't want my brother to eat dinner today. Your friends didn't clap for me.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, we just really want to thank God for the grace to see today, for the grace He's giving Seyi to be able to write this book. We are eternally grateful to Him. Secondly, I want to thank Seyi, the author. Seyi is a man who has integrity in his own home. He's a man of purpose. When we started dating in 2006, even then he had this book where he had such things as this written. So, Seyi, thank you for giving back to the community. Thank you. God bless you. We want to thank our parents for devoting themselves to us at every stage of our lives. We want to thank Her Excellency, Mommy, Ambassador Florence Ajimobi, who has always been a source of inspiration. She has always nurtured us. Thank you, Mommy. We are so grateful. We want to thank, Seyi has done it before, but again, we want to thank our father, our late father, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, without whom Seyi's story will not quite be what it is today. It might have been leading at 43. But we thank God for Daddy. We're eternally grateful. There's someone in particular I want to thank. I want to thank Jibola Ajayi. When you get to read the book, you will understand that Jibola was the one who made that connection between Seyi and her dad, our dad. Jibola, thank you so much. We do not take it for granted. We love you so much. By extension, I want to thank the rest of the Ajimobi family, the Kola Dices, the Ajayis, everyone in that circle who calls us family. We say thank you so much. We are so grateful. We also want to thank, she has thanked the Honorable Minister, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. We also want to thank the Chairman, NIRS. Thank you so much for your contribution and your support all the years. We want to thank honorable members, both of House of Representatives, House of Assemblies, Oyo State, Lagos State, Delta State, our sister who has come all the way from Delta State. Thank you so much. We want to thank our pastors in the house who are always supportive. I don't know if they're still around, but Pastor Toyosi, Pastor Toyin Lawal. We also want to thank Pastor Sam Adeyemi, even though he's not here, but he sent his goodwill message. We want to thank our pastor and our brother, Pastor Ayo Omogbemi. We want to thank all the Global Harvest pastors who are here represented. We want to thank, there's so many people to thank, but I'm still going to please permit me. We want to thank Seyi's phenomenal mentors, Mr. Feladuro Toye and Dr. Ini Abimbola. I can tell when Seyi has had a conversation with any one of you two, he's very animated and just bubbling with inspiration and excitement. Thank you so much. We want to thank Mr. Arulogo. We want to thank our dear MC, Mr. Gbenga Adeyinka. We want to thank our friends who were on the panel, Mrs. Idem Osai, Ayo Woduni, Dr. Abiola Salami. We want to thank the members of the press. We want to thank the Planning and Implementation Committee that consists of both people who work with SADI, Seyi Adisa Development Initiative, and TNA. If you're here, please, can you just come forward and let's just recognize you, please. Thank you so much. We want to thank all our constituency members from Afigio. Afigio, please, we thank you so much. Thank you for your support all the years. I hope I am not forgetting anyone. This is not an easy task. But please, if you're in the house today, it's because we recognize you as someone who is dear to us, and we are so grateful. We are thankful for you. Thank you for making the journey. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your support. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. She forgot to thank someone, and I'll do that on her behalf. Can we thank her for being a part of her and a part of him and a part of this? Mommy is trying to call our attention to something. So, tell me, ma. The editor of the book, you are recognized. A round of applause for him. Thank you very much. Afigio people. Afigio, just wave your hand. I've not seen your donation yet, but I hope I will see it. God bless you. Afigio, nibadeo. Obama tesiwaju ni o. But I'm still waiting for your donation. He's already sent. Okay, God will bless Afigio. Otherwise, I'll come and meet you people in Afigio and ask for raw material in the, I know, what do you call that thing? I heard you people have gold now. I'll collect gold in place of your donation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you. We want to appreciate you. Thank you very much. But like my brother said, and I said at the beginning, a lot of times when we go for book launches, we buy the books. I have a very vibrant library. You put them in the library, and that is the end of it. You have not done anything for Seyi Adisa if you do this. Please buy this book. Even if you can't read it, make sure you give it to a young person that will read it. 1. 2, great Akokites. Okay, there's one of us here. Great Ife. And no need to say greatest Jewites because you have glance already. What other universities is in the southwest of Nigeria? Greatest TechUI, Lautech, Lead City, God bless you. Glance is a movement starting in the University of Ibadan. You can have eventually it will move around, but you can jumpstart your university by talking to them to set up a club in your school too, where you will have people read these books together and grow together. Please have that in mind, and I hope the Glance team has the data of everybody who has come today so that we can reach out to them and you can reach out to us to let us know that you are interested. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask Honorable Seyi Adisa to come to the front. I'd like to ask his wife to come to the front. Please stretch your hands towards them. It's not a prayer meeting. No, stay there. Let me not disturb you. Stay here. Stretch your hands towards them, please. Stretch your hands towards them. And pray that their candle will not burn out. And having said that, let's pray that Nigeria will be great again. Let's rise, ladies and gentlemen, for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We'll take just the first stanza, and I always like it when people sing it so that you know the true meaning of the words of the anthem. If the DJ is ready, let's have it. If it's not,
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land.
sovereign motherland. Someone kept asking for the third stanza. Please move to the third stanza. You don't have to play it. You can just show the third stanza. Creation, grant this our to build a nation where and plenty, Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. Make sure you shake hands with somebody before you leave. Thank you very much. One love. Keep us together.
Don't be sad, understand. Everybody has a day, the sun stays away. Take on in a new tomorrow. Little more love between us for a brighter day. Never need worry, let one love set you free. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle to stay in mind. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle to stay.